a chicken and make her name it gay!
That's not how the Force works.
I don't care!
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Yo! G'day guys and welcome to Casual Rage. Casual Rage 196. Should have been 197. Should have been 197. We're going to casually rage out about the this week's topics when it comes to Star Wars. And of course, last week, we've got basically 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew to break down. Oh my God. And let me tell you, let me just say this before we actually get right into everything going on. I have to apologize for last week, obviously. Like, that was horrible on my behalf. And the fact that it was like an hour and a half after I was supposed to start that, like, okay, I don't want to go into too much detail. I had a really, really bad day that day at work. Basically took my work home with me. Didn't get to bed until really, really early in the morning. Then didn't even like prepare myself for the next day. Slept in so much that like when I woke up, it was like, you know, the deer in the headlights kind of thing. When you realize it's almost like when you wake up at the time that you're supposed to be at work or something like that. And you like immediately shoot up out of bed and you're like, fuck. It was one of those moments for me. But I do apologize. I really do. There were people like, where the fuck is he? What's going on? Is he all right? Like, and I like really appreciate the support despite the stupidity of it. So anyway, we are here now. We are going to go through it. And actually, I do need to apologize for not having my episode 4 release out yet. So I had problems with my computer on Wednesday night. Massive problems with my camera and my and StreamYard actually. And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get it done. I couldn't get it done yesterday. So I literally watched the episode 2 hours before I started the stream. And the episode review will be out later today or tonight, or depending on where you are, it could be tomorrow. So I gotta apologize for everything. Fuck. It's been a horrible week. We're gonna make up for it here though with this week's topics, because there was actually, it was funny. I was watching Grizzy and Tim. You know, when they were drinking, I'm sure there were a lot of you there. They were drinking on stream, reacting to the shills. It was hilarious. It was really, really good. Actually, it was a really, really good stream. I actually enjoyed it. But he brought up a video that apparently makes it connect to Palpatine somehow. How the Skeleton Crew planet is 100% cloning Palpatine. Excuse me, I got really dry mouth. But yeah, I thought we could EFAP that video and see what they actually have to say. And I really wanted to do that last week. You got no idea how like ready I was for actually everything last week, because pretty much everything that we're going to be going over this week, other than we are going to go over the Superman trailer. We are going to go over the Superman trailer, but everything else is pretty much all from last week. And the fact that Skeleton Crew. Actually, before we do get into, I was going to do the Superman trailer first, but before we do, I might actually go into a little bit of a breakdown of the last 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew, because I didn't get it to you last week. But before we do, let me quickly say hello to you guys in the chat. Why do I feel so rushed? I'm doing this to myself, aren't I? Because I fucked up so much last week. Woosah, calm down. All right. Mud Crab. How you doing, Mud Crab? Good to see you. We got, as always, Darth Ghostface in the chat. And yes, I did show up this week. Let's see. Lex is in the chat. How you doing, Lex? Let's see. Of course, there's Mr. Grant Gregory. It wasn't AI. It was actually me responding in the chat. We got Butcher here. How you doing, Butcher? Where's Blake? I haven't seen him. Is he like further down? I've been right up in the chat right now. Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. Rage on. Like, the funny thing is with Skeleton Crew is it's not really creating much rage in me. It's creating more apathy and boredom, to be honest. Like, even though I had those issues with like my computer all fucking week, I didn't really care. It was like I didn't get spoiled on any of it. I heard a few people talking about how boring it was and stuff like that this episode, and they weren't wrong. The thing that's killing it though for me with Skeleton Crew is like how childish the humor and how childish like even just general dialogue can be. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane, to be honest. Because it really doesn't have that connection. It doesn't feel like it has much of a connection to Star Wars. And that's not because you're not seeing lightsabers and stuff like that. We've seen a tiny little bit of Force use. It's the only time at this point in time that we've actually seen him use it. And he has admitted now to not being an actual Jedi. Man, why is my mouth so dry? But like you could, it's also really predictable. It's kind of like I said at the end of last week when they went into hyperspace and they apparently had their they had the coordinates home, and they go into hyperspace, go into those coordinates. And then in this episode, obviously it's not their home planet. They're still on the adventure. Pro Jack fans in the chat. How you doing, Pro Jack fan? Good to see you. Let's see. Quinton's here. Everyone's come back, and I appreciate that after last week's debacle. Mike Hill, the great Mike Hill, always here, always supporting, always sending me shit. Most of the stuff, Mike Hill's just re-seeing it again because he's the one that sends it to me. Lara's in the chat. How you doing, Lara? She'll watch the stream later, as she always does. Just scrolling through a little bit. We got Nuisance Bird. Caw-caw. I was actually thinking about it again when we were playing the intro. I haven't dressed up for a long time. Put a wig on. It's been a while. SWA comes through with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, SWA. I appreciate that. And actually, you know what? Because of how bad I was last week, I need to mute my stream. I am going to gift you guys all the memberships I can for this month. So Merry Christmas to these people that get these, and thank you for your support and thank you for coming back. We'll give those out, and then we'll give these out as well. And there's my apology. My apology tour is now over. Oh, Lethal Lightning got a membership. He doesn't deserve one. He doesn't deserve one. There you go. Yes, the members, you get access to the emojis, the seal claps, the Charles emojis. What does the Charles emoji look like? I hate how it doesn't show me on StreamYard. I can't remember. Oh, the Charles emoji with the hat on. That's right. Daniel made that. He also made a Charles Twitter account and he runs it. That's the funniest thing. Charles runs it. Shh. I didn't even get one. Maybe next time. It's all right. I can't give out any more. I've done the limits. 10 a month. I still don't know how many people know about that. I got to remind Flash. I remember telling Flash. All right, let's talk a little bit about Skeleton Crew. I'm pretty much caught up in the chat. If I didn't catch you, I see Aunt Jemima. I see Tillium. Hi. Gross. I'm pretty much caught up. I appreciate it. There was actually one from Mudcrab that I want to... where is it, Mudcrab? You said something about a trailer or something that they dropped for Skeleton Crew and you kind of liked the music in it. I don't like comments like that. But I want you to send that to me. DM that to me. Here it is. No, that's not it. Well, I've gone too far up. You know what I'm talking about. You said it. Anyway, DM that to me. We'll watch it and see if you're right about this music. Skeleton Crew is good. Mauler said so. Well, let's not go too far now. Let's not go too far now. This is the thing. Like, I understand where these people are sort of coming from with it. It's not good Star Wars at all. It's actually horrible. It's actually really, really bad. You remove it out of the Star Wars galaxy and you make this just a kid's little adventure show. It's fine. It just doesn't belong. So that's where I see that. That's where I understand that, like, and the other thing too in regards to that, and I'm not trying to justify anything. Again, like, momentum is very important. I feel like what Melvin was saying about momentum being important, especially in regards to this. I feel like, someone like Theory, who, again, I thought after the Acolyte took a step forward, and then after like the Anakin thing and the clone trooper, the trans clone trooper thing takes a couple of steps back. It's a bit like, I don't know if we're ever going to, like, if these people are ever actually going to be true to George Lucas Star Wars ever. I'm isolating myself pretty much to the guys like Star Wars Marvel purist, Justin, Melvin, Tim. but those like Mauler and those guys, they're watching these things not as like a super fan. Yeah, they are fans of Star Wars. We know that they are. But like Mauler still hasn't even watched the Clone Wars stuff. And that's not to say that he can't have an opinion on these things. But it's kind of like with the Andor thing. You know, despite what they say about Andor, you guys know I've got complete disagreement with them in regards to Andor. But it's not like then I think that Mauler's takes are bad on everything. You know what I mean? I can still watch EFAP. But like with Star Wars Theory, who is, let's say, an isolated Star Wars main, you know, his main thing is Star Wars, let's be real. He does have his other channels. That seems to be a justification, though, point for a lot. But, you know, Star Wars Theory, who, you know, based on how he perceives his knowledge of Star Wars, to me, then watching him, I think he should know better. But it doesn't come across that way. Does that make sense? Same with Critical Drinker. You can have that opinion. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that far. And one of the things that we were going to actually possibly go through was the stream. Again, this was from last week, and I've got this up. I got 41 minutes into the stream. And I'm so happy that Robot Head's there, because Robot Head is, he sees through that bullshit. He really does. I'd really love to catch up with him for a drink. Pick his brain a little bit, talk to him about Star Wars a bit. It'd be awesome. But yeah, like we might still go through some of this. Get Robot Head on the show. I have asked him. His schedule doesn't always line up. I am definitely trying to. I want to reach out to him. I actually haven't yet, but I noticed that he started streaming, and I messaged him, or at least he did a stream, and he's still finding his feet with the streaming stuff. It's kind of like, it surprised me a little bit, because he's got what, 300,000-400,000 subscribers now, something like that. And, he does really, really good videos, great production value, all of that sort of thing. He does the sponsorships and all of that. But he's not much of a streamer. But he's noticed, I think, that streaming is kind of important and where it's at. You get to freely talk about it. You can talk about it longer than you can on a video. You can deep dive a little bit more. So he ended up doing a stream. I messaged him and I'm like, dude, if you're ever looking for a guest or something like that, and we had a bit of a back and forward. But I do want to see if I can try and get him for 200. That would be really good, because he is paying attention to Star Wars. Like, he is watching Skeleton Crew, I believe. Well, based on this stream, I know he's watching Skeleton Crew, in fact. So he's paying attention. And he seems to be the one that's like, he's got my opinion of it. He's certainly got my opinion of it. So we might watch some of this a bit later. But the other one is this video. We're definitely going through this video. It's 17 minutes long. See, this is the thing with the stream, is we could be sitting here for ages. Might have to give you that after last week, though. So we'll see how we go. Jordan Star Wars, how you doing? Oh, and I noticed that they actually announced the Gatekeepers Alliance and the Star Triggered and all of that sort of thing. I would have loved to have been like a part of it. Like I feel like I still am, and they certainly we I was reached out to just as everybody else was. Like, it was all that sort of thing. It's just the hours for me, the times that those streams are going to be happening and stuff like that. I'm going to be working, and it just doesn't work out. So I hope that I can still consider myself an OG member of the Gatekeepers Alliance. Correct. Hail the Gatekeepers Alliance. But unfortunately, and the thing is if I'm ever free in any of the time slots that people are streaming on that channel or, you know, doing something for the Gatekeepers Alliance or anything like that, I will be there. I will certainly be there. But it's awesome that those guys are doing that. It's awesome. Like this is like a true George Lucas Star Wars fan group, essentially, that concentrates on that and definitely still points out the problems with Disney Star Wars and how that doesn't line up with what Star Wars should be or what George Lucas's, you know, legacy should entail. So good on them for getting that going. And I wish I could be there every single week. Because again, the conversations that some, like, you know, everybody's got really good chemistry. And I feel like it's a good little group of people. Alora brings something to the table. Melvin brings something to the table. Grizzy, Justin, Tim, all of them. And they all know like little bits and pieces. Between all of them, you know, you've pretty much nearly got, I reckon, every Star Wars question covered. And then if you threw somebody like a Matt Wilkins in there, who definitely, he doesn't even pay attention to the Disney stuff at all. Doesn't watch it, doesn't see it. The only things that Matt Wilkins would see in regards to anything Disney Star Wars is if he was to watch any videos on it, anybody's reviews of it, and he wouldn't go looking for it. That's the thing. He is very much George Lucas, original EU Star Wars, as is the Gatekeepers Alliance. So if you're not subscribed, hey, mods, if you can please drop the link to their new channel, the Gatekeeper. What is it called? Is it called Star Trigger? Is that what the channel's called? Now I can't remember. Hang on. Let me bring it up. They dropped the first video, which is cool. Oh, why does it do it like that on, man? There it is. Soul Assassin's on it. Soul Assassin is on it. So if you're not subscribed to the Gatekeepers Alliance, get over there and subscribe. I'm going to bring it up really quickly and we're just going to watch this over the course of the stream. See if we can get a couple of subscribers over there. So they are currently sitting at 241. That's not bad. That's not bad considering what they only just announced it this week. They opened it up this week and they've dropped one, you know, small little video here. Just get things rolling. It's awesome. G'day, Dr. Coffin Nails. Good to see you. Smash the like button with a hammer. With a hammer. All right. We will keep an eye on that. Let's see if we can get some subscribers over there. Soul Assassin, if you would continue to drop that link throughout the stream, that would be great. Actually, you know what I might do? I might even pin it. There we go. We are pinned. Awesome. All right. Let's get into... did I talk enough about Skeleton Crew? I really don't care about Skeleton Crew. Man, it is so boring. It is so boring. This episode, they go to another planet that kind of looks like a fucking... that kind of looks the same as their planet. And it's like it's at Andron or something like that. And the droid seems to know more. And it is such a kid adventure show. It's just a kid adventure show. And that's why I believe people like Critical Drinker and Mauler and stuff like that are saying that it's on the surface, it's fine. You know, but in Star Wars, this is just not Star Wars. It's just doesn't fit, doesn't work. Even for kids, it's just too. It's just not there. You know, that's why I feel like, you know, introducing kids into Star Wars, like little kids, it's just better to do that through the animation stuff, through something like those Young Jedi Adventures or something like that. Not that I think that they're any good, because they are essentially drenched in Disney canon. But I mean that format. Sorry, excuse me. But I mean that format. That format is better for that age kids in regards to trying to get them into Star Wars, not a live action thing like this. It's just, I don't know. And don't get me wrong, it certainly still has its problems when it comes to its connection to Star Wars lore and canon. They're not as glaring and they're not as obvious because it's shrouded in the fact that it is for kids. It's so interesting because of how dumbed down it is. You kind of go, it's that dumb that you sort of just give it that pass, right? I don't see it that way. I'm just saying, like, it's so dumbed down for kids that people think that kids are that dumb too, though. I don't know too many kids that like maybe they might get a little bit of enjoyment out of this. They might get a couple of little chuckles. Like even in this last episode, you'll see when I drop my review eventually. But you'll see in that like even I'm like, oh, is that supposed to be funny? Like, like this is so dumb. And that's not really what you want in Star Wars, especially not live action, and especially not something that is supposed to connect to the overall story. I mean, it is canon, right? It's not like they've come out and said that this is like Visions and it's not actually connected to the overall story. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Elephant Kid. The Elephant Kid. Oh, Neil. What can I say about Neil? Let me say this about Neil. Fucking this episode. I'm going to bring it up. This episode. It was such filler. But actually, you know, it's hard to say that it was filler because there was still a reasonable reason for them to end up at this planet. There was also a reasonable reason for them to stay and trust and do what they did. And there's even a moment where even in my review, I'm like, these kids are so naive. They're so like isolated and stupid. But then also too, it's kind of like the reverse in regards to that person learned that lesson from them. Like, hang on, let me bring it up. Let me show you what I mean here. Put my headphones on. God, this show, man, I'm telling you, it's funny. I watched. Was it Darth Pause? Darth Pause, if you're in the chat, I got to say, I'm curious to know, like, how old you are. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to let that necessarily known. I do believe that you're under, like, you would still be considered a minor. I would say that. So maybe 16, 17. You could possibly be 18. I'm not too sure, though. But the way that you went about that stream with Echo Base, man, you're well beyond your years. Well beyond your years. And I applaud you. That was fantastic. because I've had moments like I've had some good interactions with Echo Base Network, and I've certainly had my runnings and my bad interactions with Echo Base Network, and I still have some of those issues with them. Like even when we did that parody video of like there are way more of us, they were in that. I reached out to everybody and said, does anybody want to be a part of this? And they put their hand up and said yes. But I gotta say, Darth Paws is live now, is he? Dog. Cheeky dog with his paws. Stream battling with me. No. He's good, man. He knows his stuff. He's got great interaction. I think he knows his stuff. But that stream that he did, it makes sense. I understand. And I want Disney Star Wars to fail and get destroyed just like everybody else, right? And I'm certainly not defending Skeleton Crew here because it is a bad, horrible Star Wars show. It's a bad, horrible show. And there are moments in it that are really actually badly written. There's actually some bits in there that are, and you'll get that from my review because I don't want to necessarily go into the same things that you'll hear from my video. But where's this bit that I was thinking about? No, we're going, yeah, here. I think it's here. Hold on. Let me just play a little bit. Okay, here we go. So, hang on. I need to do it this way, don't I? Yeah. All right, good. Okay, so let me just explain what's kind of going on here. Let me just paint a picture. So, the kids have ended up on this planet called At Andron, which looks, the infrastructure and everything is identical to their home planet, right? Now, we have heard that At Adden is one of many of these Old Republic planets, apparently, but it was the only one that was like hidden, isolated, and kept doing the whatever it is that they do on that planet in regards to the way that they survive. All the other planets ended up either being destroyed or something like that, all civilizations. And there's a lot of destruction on this planet. And a bit more explanation comes later on in this episode. This is why this episode isn't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily consider this episode filler, but it's certainly boring. It's so boring, man. I can't begin to tell you. And because of how childish it is, it makes it even more painful to watch. But so there's two factions on this planet that are fighting each other. And it's a war over, basically, it's one of those wars where it's been going on for so long that nobody can even really remember why they're fighting each other. And now it's almost like it's over rations, right? Because they've just basically destroyed each other. So one side's got the kids and the other side ends up with Jude Law, sort of thing. And during all of this, the pirate droid is sort of having these moments of recalling At Adden and then forgetting and denying knowing anything about At Adden. It's really, 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 really ridiculous. It really is. But there's your setup. I know it was a little bit long-winded. So what's happening right now is the kids need to get to some citadel sort of thing to get information about how to get back to their home planet, At Adden, not At Andron, where they are right now. The leader of these guys that have the kids say, okay, if you prove yourself in bravery and lead us into this battle or whatever, then we'll take you there. And it's so like stupid, like that premise of that just happening and these kids. And he even mentions that the kids here, we treat them like adults. The kids are adults here. It's so dumb. Anyway, So they're training, and the daughter of the leader is supposed to be there, like instructing them and teaching them and all of this kind of thing. So they're blasting at these cans down here. It is a very, very dark episode. Very dark episode, right? But they're firing at those cans. I can't play too much because I need to drag this out so much because there's a lot just in this explanation. It goes all the way to pretty much there. What's that? 5 minutes. This is 5 minutes of crap I'm about to show you in this show. So they all run off. The 3 of the 4 kids from Ad Adden run off. The 2 girls and the other main boy that wants to go on the adventure. And Neil is the one that stays. Yes, Neil, right? And he's like all sad and stuff. And the daughter of the leader, this girl over here. Oh, you can't see my cursor. But anyway, you can obviously see the screen. So she's supposed to be the one that's teaching them and, you know, instructing them and getting them better. But she just says that they're pathetic.
Your friends are hopeless.
Your friends are hopeless. And she's got this really, really bad, like, it's almost like she's trying to put on like a bit of a, like a, I don't know, a Russian Middle Eastern accent. It's kind of weird. It really is. And Neil's like, yeah, they really are. And he gets all sad and stuff like this. But they go off, right?
Do you not wish to join them?
No.
No, he just wants to go home. And I do find it funny that the one character that has a traditional nuclear family back home is really the only one that's not enjoying this adventure and just wants to go back home. His life was fine and he was happy. Everybody else is like really like getting into this whole adventure thing. And she's so like the captain now, the captain. She's so like, she even introduced herself to their leader as a captain. You want to see that really quickly before we go any more further forward? This is ridiculous. This is one of the most ridiculous fucking things. I gotta try and find it without.
Happy and Fern. Captain Fern, actually.
Captain Fern?
I was a bit like, you're surrounded by all these adults and everything, and you've just been presented as, you know, you thought they were friends, and now you're being presented as possible prisoners, and you've got the audacity, without the protection of your droid or the protection of Jude Law there, and you've got the audacity to stand up and say, oh, Captain Fern, actually. I was just like, oh, no.
You are warriors then?
We're kids.
But on this world, we treat our children as adults.
Anyway, there you get the idea. Where was I? So ridiculous. So they then walk off. She's supposed to be teaching them. But who does she walk off with? Neil, and just Neil. The other 3 are still somewhere running around shooting blasters. They get food. They get their rations. And when he gets his rations, he gives his rations to like these poor little kids over here, right?
Are you guys hungry?
And then she gives this little, oh, isn't that nice? He's so nice. Hey, come on. Like, again, really, really, really childish. They're still off. They're talking. Then she does this thing. She's like, let me just show you this. Out of nowhere. Out of literally nowhere. And mind you, the other 3 are still running around shooting blasters while she's supposed to be actually teaching them. And this looks so bad. I'm gonna get copyright claimed on this, and the stream might get blocked. So you guys are the lucky ones. This looks horrible. It looks so horrible. It just doesn't look real. It just doesn't. Just the CGI of it just looks really bad to me.
From the old days, its strength is what keeps us safe here.
That keeps them safe there. So she thought she'd just open it up and show him, just him. Then they go over here and they sit down and they have a little conversation. Man, even the conversation was so like, They go over to the ledge and sit down.
We fight for food. We fight to protect our friends. We are strong.
And he just tells her about At-Aden and how there's no fighting at At-Aden. Mind you, again, like I said, the other three are still just running around with blasters. And then man, this goes for ages. And then they come back and they're like, oh, where do you think they were? And then they get told to lead them out. Jude Law, because he got captured by them, gives them back their EOPs that got stolen by the other side because he stole the credits from the kids and then bought the herd with the credits. And then, like, that was how he did that. And it was all off screen and everything. So it was supposed to be, like, surprising when he revealed himself. And then at the end, it's revealed that this droid does know about At-Aden. And the funny thing is it's the whole thing with this last scene is it reminded me so much of what's it called? The thing with the programming. Oh, it'll come to me. But basically what happens is the droid has been ordered by its previous captain to forget everything about the planet of At-Aden. The girl figures that out, right? But because she's the new captain, she uses her captain status to override the memory banks of the droid so the droid can remember. But the droid then goes into this mode of like, okay, so you've overridden my old captain's orders to forget this, but I was ordered that if anybody was to override that and ask me about it, I would kill them. It's a bit like Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2. Sorry, that's what I was getting to. And I mentioned this in my review. It's a bit like Back to the Future 2, right? When Marty goes to Biff about the almanac, and then after Biff tells him the entire story of the almanac, he basically says that he told me that if a kid or a wacky scientist ever comes to me asking me about the book, that they'd kill them, and I never thought it would be you. It's a bit like that, but with this droid in regards to its memory banks. So the droid goes into like destructive mode, right? Full on, like, watch. We'll get
About At-Aden.
But you can take us there now, right?
And then he told me, if anyone ever comes poking around looking for the treasure.
You know where it's going, right? Sounds almost line for line like Back to the Future 2. Back to the Future 2.
Give me the blaster.
He told me to pull them apart. Pull them apart. Pull them apart.
Limb from limb. Starts going into this destructive mode. But you want to know how he gets out of it? Neil ends up getting all this bravery up. The droid's about to kill the three of them, and Neil throws a rock at its head, which stops the droid from killing the kids, turning to Neil and starts advancing on Neil. Now, we're going to get to that point, and you're going to see what happens.
Hey!
I don't know why they're not all together. Again, placement of characters and everything. This is why it is for kids, because kids wouldn't necessarily care about, like, you know, we've had multiple moments throughout this series where it's like, hang on, that doesn't make sense. You just edited, they were all together and now they're separated and they don't know where each other are. Did we just skip time between edits on the same, like, in the same location or something? Watch how this droid gets immobilized. Let's say that. and you let me know what you think about these Star Wars galaxy. Let's say you do have like your pirate droids out there and stuff like that. What kind of systems would they have? What kind of protections would they have? How easy would it be to be able to shut down a droid or turn, like, you know, a protocol droid different? Yeah, you might just have a switch on the back of its head, but a droid that's supposed to be like a bodyguard and like a first mate kind of to the captain and the muscle, the brute, how would you think you would have to be able to shut down the muscle droid of your crew? I'm not asking that rhetorically. Like, I want answers, not necessarily from you. I want answers from them, because this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Leave him alone!
Oh, he's got his bravery. And they're all like, look, it's Neil. He's so brave. Even Jude Law just sort of half stands there for a second. So brave, Neil. Oh, Neil.
Learn from him!
Jude Law. Man, you're in for a treat. You're in for a real treat. You want to see it again? Oh my God. Sorry. I nearly died then. Just tapped his shoulder. The fuck? Did you even see what happened? I'll slow it down for you. I'll slow it down for you, all right? Hold on. Can I slow it down? Oh, why can't... Oh, settings? No, that's only audio and subtitles. Is there a way that I can slow it down? I thought I... Oh, that's so stupid. Try and see it again.
Learn from him!
He's lucky he hit the right switch on the jump past. Oh my God. And also too, this droid has displayed itself to be quite formidable in regards to the fact that I would assume that even in this mode of like, you've activated something and it's now gone into like destructive mode, I'm going to kill everyone that's asked me about this. Also, the fact that Jude Law has been in that room. If Jude Law was running at him like that, no matter how quiet he was trying to be, that droid would have turned and just caught him and grabbed him probably by the throat. And then they all come over and he passes out. And that's where the episode ends. Oh, by the way, they still don't have the location of their home planet. They did go to the temple. This was the temple thing. And again, this is a complete replica, a town of their town, just basically destructed, right? But they go into the thing and they see the tablets on the walls that talk about... Hang on.
Something.
Well, that says add A2.
At A2, right? So there's at A2. They're on at Andron. There's all these things, and there's a fair few of them. Maybe like, I don't know, 5 to 7, something like that. And at Aden is one of them. But at Aden's coordinates, because it gives the star chart coordinates for all of them, except the at Aden ones have been like wiped out. And then the droid out of nowhere suddenly says, yes, I did that. And then all of a sudden goes back into its mode of, I don't know anything about at Aden, right? And they're asking him, like, when did you do this? Anyway, the droid, and being obviously that they found the crashed ship and that droid was on that crashed ship, on their home planet of At-Aden, because that's where they originally left from, why is it so hard to believe that this droid knows about At-Aden? I don't know. Man, it's hot in here. But that's episode 4. Like, again, you take this out, you put this in isolation. You put this into isolation as like just a normal standard kids show, and it would be fine. Take it out of space and it'd be fine. You know, these kids have gotten lost. You could people have done shows like this. But it does almost seem like a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of inspiration, and again, too close, taken from a lot of things, like the thing with the droid and Back to the Future, right? But also, too, think about the beginning of episode 1, where everybody was saying, oh my God, it's like A New Hope. Oh my God, it's like the beginning of A New Hope. Albatross, sorry, says for $5. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Kind of reminds me of the Simpsons Treehouse. Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, where the evil Krusty doll had a button on his back that said good and evil. Oh, man, it's been ages, but yeah. Thank you for that. Man, Simpsons for me was like, man, I haven't watched Simpsons in so long. It's one of those ones that's like, I remember some things, and I've got a mate that like knows the Simpsons inside out and back to front. And like, he'll be telling me about an episode and I'll be like, man, I can't even fucking remember that. We're going to put that in with the ice. It is so freaking hot. But let me just end off with Skeleton Crew saying it's not good. It's not a good show. I don't even think it's necessarily a good show for kids. I think that the justification of it's for kids allows them to do stupid writing. And it's funny because that's been the justification for the ridiculous writing of all the quote unquote, let's say, more adult Star Wars. Because if this is for kids, even though people used to say that Mando was for kids, right? And even original Star Wars was all for kids and stuff like this. That shit is way like more mature than this show. Way more. You know, but isn't it interesting that the justification for why we, let's say, can't criticize this or can't it's because it's for kids and it's made basically for kids, right? It's got kids in it. It's a kid's story and it's for kids. It's like, that's interesting because you've been saying that the reason for our criticisms and stuff, like why are you worried so much about a kids thing for so long, that it's like, oh, that's interesting. We can't criticize this because it's for kids, but also too, when we do criticize the stuff that's quote unquote not necessarily just for kids, it's like, why are you criticizing a kids show? It's so hot. I'm sweating like a fucking pig. I'm sorry. I need to go and grab my fan. This might take a minute or two. I need to. I am sweating bullets. I'll try and play you something here. We could do nap time, but nap time's old and I hate nap. I don't really like nap time. It goes too long. Although I do need something a little bit longer. Oh, that didn't sound good, did it? All right. Fuck. Oh, this one's a minute and a half, and it's got Tim. And I know Tim likes the clip if he's even here. All right, I'll be right back.
I'll fix it. A little bit more. Turn a little bit more to the.
Is that better?
There it is.
I gotta see what I look like on the playback.
You're fine. It's good. You want to sit in your bed?
I'm missing my bottom teeth, and I've got a triple chin.
Derp. Derp.
I make Star Wars.
He looks like Kramer addressing Newman.
He does. He looks like he's like, Tim, what the fuck? Oh my god, that's great though, Tim. That's great, man.
Yeah, I'll fix yours right.
Birds of Prey is going to deal with the misogynistic crap that you guys have to deal with on a daily basis. I'm missing my bottom teeth.
I'm gonna have a heart attack.
I know. Oh my god, dude. Rhino looks like he's gonna take a bite out of Tim's head. Nom, 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 nom.
Hey, Tim, that ear looks quite delicious.
Oh boy.
Hey, I like the way you style your hair. It's kind of cool.
Man.
Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. Wow. Oh, that's
You
fantastic.
semi-bisexual like me? You can be a part of our alphabet squadrons. Yes, the alphabet squadron.
Such a funny clip. All right, I think we're good. Man, it is hot. Let me tell you guys what the temperature is right now. I'll give it to you in Celsius and Fahrenheit. How about that? Celsius to Fahrenheit. We have 34 degrees Celsius, which is 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit. There you go. It is hot. But it's hot like inside too. And I don't have air conditioning. That's the next thing on the list. All right. Let's get back into it. So we went over Skeleton Crew. It's boring. It's shit. It's not good. Skeleton Crew breakdown. We just sort of did it. We really just kind of like went through the last episode. I know we kind of missed episode 3, but this is the thing. It is just an adventure story. There seems to be like, again, I think like this story in isolation can be fine as a kid's adventure story. I haven't really been able to sort of pick anything. It's just really boring and for kids. But again, you put it in Star Wars, it's just like, what are we doing? Why does this exist? Why does this exist? Why does this exist? R.I.P. Rhino, I know. I know, it's bad. It's not good. It's not good for Star Wars. It's not good. Let's just say that. Oh, this is good. Celsius 0 is my 0 to 10 is cold. Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way of actually, reading, yes. So when we, in Celsius, this is obviously to the Americans. In Celsius, when we say like, if it's 0 to 10, it's cold. If it's 10 to 20, it's still cold. And there's usually like a frosty wind that goes with those sort of two spots. And then 20 to 30 is warm. 30 to 40 is definitely hot, like getting like exhausting hot, and over 40 is Australia. That's true. That's very true. Man, there was that day they were talking about the heat wave, and there was that day where it was like supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be 43, and it did say that it only got to I think it was 38, but the that was like obviously just the air temperature. You get down to like road level and stuff like that, and it's couldn't go outside. Anyway, back to it. RIP Star Wars says, "What's up, Rhino?" Not much, man. For 12 months, I appreciate the 12-month membership. That's awesome. A year celebration for RIP Star Wars. I appreciate that. We've just gone through Skeleton Crew pretty much. We're going to get into some of the other things because, like I said, I do actually want to EFAP at least that one video, which is what, 17 minutes, did I say? Just under 18 minutes. And I feel like there's going to be a few pauses in there. I really do. Palpatine's connection to this planet and how this planet's the one cloning. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if they actually did do that. It would not surprise me in the slightest. Let's talk about the big thing that happened today, which is the Superman trailer. I didn't mind the poster that they came out with. That moving poster was kind of cool, and the music over it. I didn't mind it. Obviously, they're trying to build on the nostalgia of the John Williams theme, but I definitely felt like that in the poster. The way that the humming or the harmonies were being done through the vocals, I felt were very like Zack Snyder-y. And I did notice somebody actually, let me see, did I save it? Hold on. Did I say, I better have saved it. I didn't fucking save it. Did I retweet it? Oh, Rhino, if you didn't, you're an idiot. Because there was somebody that like showed like did a split screen and showed connections between. It was just interesting connections between the Snyderverse Superman stuff and this trailer. But let's watch it. Let's watch the trailer. Now, I don't know, because I don't talk about DC a lot. So I don't know how many of you guys actually know, because I have talked about DC in the past, but I am not a huge DC guy. I'm certainly more a Marvel guy, X-Men, Spider-Man, not so much Fantastic Four, but still Fantastic Four and stuff like that. But I was more Marvel, right? But that's not to say, obviously, I didn't know who Superman and Batman were and Green Lantern and some of the more popular main DC heroes and villains. Obviously, grew up with Michael Keaton Batman and stuff like that. But I never got into the lore of it, or even the canon of it massively when it came to splitting off into sort of other characters and stuff like that. Like the discussions of who's the best Robin or whatever. Like I certainly don't have a say in a horse in that race. I sit back and listen to people talk about it, and I actually don't know really who they're talking about. So let's watch this trailer. Let me share my screen. And I'll give you my thoughts on it. As a complete normie to it. I do want to point out, I have watched this trailer. So this isn't a live reaction. I watched it actually last night for the first time with Mozza and Lethal. And then I watched it again today because obviously I woke up and everybody was talking about it, and I wanted to see what a couple of people were saying. So this isn't my first, my opinion's not influenced by anyone though, because I know like a lot of people are big DC fans. Because I know Mozza and Lethal didn't like it, and I know somebody like Ryan did like it, or didn't mind it. Quietly optimistic, I think. I gotta say, I don't like the guitar. And I don't know what other people actually think about the guitar. I honestly, if I was going to pick between having that John Williams theme in the theme of what they did with the poster compared to what they've done with the guitar in this trailer, I got to admit I prefer the poster sound to it.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
Superman. Superman.
Okay, yeah, listen to the tail end of that. So again, as a complete like normie to like the broader view of, let's say, the DCU kind of thing, the DC universe and all the characters and stuff like that, I first of all want to say this. The fact that you've got these characters in here, these are like obviously a lot of people know who Green Lanterns are. I certainly don't know specifically who that actually is, to be honest with you. I didn't know who that was. I don't know what's going on there, or if anyone knows actually what's going on there. And that, like, there's things that I'm seeing that I'm sure other people are seeing, like the Easter eggs and I don't know whether or not they consider them to be jangling keys or not, or whether or not this is, again, nostalgia being done well, or I don't know. I don't go that deep into this stuff. But what I will say is I don't know whether or not it is a good idea to introduce so many, let's say, unknown characters so quickly. It's an interesting way of going about it, as opposed to, let's say, the way that Marvel did it in regards to sort of trying to isolate and introduce a couple of individual characters and then bringing them together. You can do it this way, but you need to then have a good plan. And this is what we're being told by James Gunn and everybody else there, that, they've got to have a good plan to be able to tell the individual stories so that by the time we get to an impactful moment with all the characters, it's actually meaningful and we actually care about the characters, or we don't care about the characters and want to see them succumb, or whatever the case may be with that. So it's interesting that this is the way that they're going with it, to be honest with you. It's also interesting that, to me, it comes across, and I was listening before the stream, and I just want to quickly say hello to Blabs. Hi, Blabs. I'm new here. Who are you? You're not new here, and you know exactly who I am. I'm the man sitting next to you. Fuck. Right here.
Oh, Mozza, read that. Mozza, don't let the American,
Did you just fart?
tell you what to do.
All right, that's enough because there's probably an echo anyway. But hi, Blabs. So good to see you. Doxed. Rhino ignored me. I didn't ignore you, did I, Mr. Bantham? Fuck. That just jumped all over the place on me. Well, good to see you, Mr. Bantham. All right, back to what I was saying. So, I don't know whether or not it's a good idea or not to actually introduce all the characters all at once like this, and then, let's say, go back in time and maybe try and start telling some origin stories or some backstories. Because especially with the characters that a lot of people like me, let's say, don't necessarily know, yeah, you can make something just for like the super hardcore fans, and that's fine if you wanted to do that. It's just there's going to be some things where you're going to end up having a lot of people having a lot of questions that have never seen these characters before. So that was my first thing. The other thing too that again, I just want to say in regards to, I was watching Josiah's stream with Mike and Benology and stuff like that. And they were talking about the trailer and everything. And it was interesting. Mike started saying something along the lines of how, this is almost starting like they're established. And it almost comes across as like there's a team and they almost just, it seems like they're sort of going up against Superman, or there seems to be now a rift between the team and Superman. And this is the thing that I started thinking when they started talking about that was Invincible, right? How Invincible, he was always separate from the team. You always had the team and they were always working together, and he would always be there to help the team, but he was never like officially a part of the team. Is that what they're doing with Superman here? Like, you've got the team of superheroes, you got your Green Lanterns and your, what was that other character? This one? Tell me, chat, because I can't remember her name. Hawk, Captain Hawk, Seahawk, She-Hawk, Mighty Hawk. Is it even a hawk? Hawk Girl. Is that actually what it is? At least I got the hawk part right. But that's my whole point. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. Either that or they need to do a good job introducing them in this that makes you want to, let's say, learn more about that character. And you don't have to have that with every single character, and certainly not straight away. But again, that's why I find it interesting that you're starting here with all of this. It's almost like, it's an interesting strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them. Can they make it work? Yeah, possibly. There was something else. The whole crypto thing. Like, again, I don't know. I didn't know about the dog. Nothing. And it is interesting. Everybody's talking about, oh, there's no dialogue. There's only these, three words that he says.
Home. Take me home.
That's all you get. Everybody's talking about this shot, and it was interesting because even when I watched it with Lethal and Mozza last night, as soon as this shot did come up, I was like, man, that is a good shot. I actually said it. And it is. They do that, that's one thing that you got to sort of get right with Superman too, is like his speed and the way you show that. I thought excellent, isn't it? I thought it looks good. A lot of people are talking about how good Lex Luthor looks. I saw Ryan talking about how it's Luthor Corp instead of Lex Corp. That it doesn't really mean anything to me. It means something to the hardcore fans. But that's the thing. The hardcore fans is key. And this is where Star Wars has lost people, because the hardcore fans are the key to a successful, let's say, franchise and a successful fandom, because it feeds from them saying like, yeah, it's good. You've got to be able to have, and this is, I've said it, and I haven't said it for a while, but I said it before, where George Lucas did something quite good with Star Wars in regards to the fact that he was actually able to make Star Wars for like normies, people that just do want that space adventure with a bit of a good, hero story, underdog story, with a bit of a love story in there as well, a bit of something for everyone, but was still able to keep, I will say, the majority of lore and canon within those franchises and within the rules of the universes that he's working in. It was able to keep those pretty structured so that the hardcore fans get into that stuff. The hardcore fans are the ones that go deep diving into it. And then if they're not enjoying it and it then feeds out from them, then you're starting to get to a point where no one's going to care because it's not cool anymore. The whole reason why they've started infiltrating with all the DEI bullshit and all of this kind of thing is because, and I will say probably Marvel did this more so than Star Wars, because Star Wars was still at least, Star Trek was isolated in itself, had its own little isolated fandom. You either really liked Star Trek or you didn't really like Star Trek. Somewhere along the line, Star Wars went from that to being like one of the cool kids and actually like people wanting to use it like Kathleen Kennedy as a platform. And that's where these franchises have started to go really wrong. So in regards to this DCU, this new DCU that you're coming up with, James Gunn, and with this trailer, yeah, I've seen a lot of positivity out there for it. I'm so like skeptical and so like over the garbage that we're being given by every studio out there. You get a diamond in the rough every now and then the whole fucking universe blows up, right? So fucking people think that fucking Skeleton Crew's a diamond in the rough. It's fucking garbage. For Star Wars, it's garbage. But sometimes you will get the diamond in the rough. They will actually do something that, the hardcore fans, the ones that know a little bit more than just the normies out there and stuff like that, they see something in a movie or in a show and they're like, holy shit, they actually did something. And it always shocks people because it's always the other way around. It should be shocking to us when they make a mistake. But it's amazing now that we've gotten to a point where it's shocking now when they actually do something right. And I don't know. This is the thing about this trailer, is I don't know whether or not they're doing it right or not. Superman's cool. I know his powers, majority of his powers. Sometimes I'm still even learning fucking, oh, holy shit, he can do that. But I'm pretty sure I'm, confident to say I know his general powers. I know his weaknesses. I know where, and this is the thing, is it always depends on, the way that you tell Superman's backstory. It's very unique, and it needs to be very unique, because you need to be able to put Superman in a position where there is nothing he can do. He doesn't have a choice. And I will say that is one thing that Man of Steel didn't do well in regards to the death of his father. I don't really have that big of an issue with it because, again, I'm just a normie watching this. But I can see the issue. That's why the Christopher Reeve one is really good, because he dies of a heart attack. He just keels over and dies running up the hill. And you know, I would have even thought that because of Superman's ability to scan and stuff like that, if there was any possibility of him saving his dad, and like by getting him to a hospital or something, he would have picked him up and man, fast as a speeding bullet, right? Faster than a speeding bullet to the hospital. Probably would have caused him to actually die. But yeah, there's nothing he could do about it. Teaches him a valuable lesson. But like I said, it just depends. Like it certainly feels like they're going, like even this scene, right, with the throw, and people have made the connection. You know, the Zack Snyder when he gets the can thrown at the back of his head. I don't know what's going on here. You know, that reminds me of Solo a little too much. Lando and the droid. Yeah, see, like I don't know who that is or could be. I've heard people say names and stuff. Who's he fighting with there? Somebody in a black suit. This guy. Who's this guy? I have no clue. But that's the thing. By introducing a lot of characters very quickly, you're flooding it too, and it can sometimes be too much. You want a little bit more isolation. One character, like, you know, a couple of characters here. Introduce a couple. But this is another thing that DC is kind of known for, is moving too quickly. Like they kept doing stuff in retaliation to Marvel when they were doing the Snyder stuff and then going into like the Suicide Squad stuff and all of that. Right? So it always seems like they're on the back foot. The funny thing is that they do have, this is the crazy thing about what they're doing right now, is that this is their opportunity. I feel like this is a massive opportunity for them because Marvel's been so shit recently that they've put themselves in the bin. Now, based on what we're hearing from a lot of people out there, is that Kevin Feige is turning the corner and Marvel is actually going to stop doing the whole bullshit DEI stuff and all of that crap. Now, if let's say that is true, well, DC needs to move real quick. Is it still Warner Brothers? DC needs to move real quick. And it needs to be good. It needs to be good. It's dangerous doing this. And it's not to say that I don't want, like, because I don't want any more origin stories. If I'm interested in a new character, then yeah, give me an origin story. Tell me about that character, right? But sometimes you need to just, you need to have the plan, and you when you've got a plan in place, you almost know that the audience is going to connect with these individual characters in some way. That's what you want to go in with anyway. At least a little bit of confidence that can happen. I don't know if throwing them all at the screen at once is the right move. I don't. As a trailer, I think it was fine. I think the fact that there's only like a couple of words of dialogue, it's really based on the fact that it just wants you to feel this trailer. It doesn't really give you, because I don't think we even really still know what the basis of this story is going to be, right? You've got your heroes and you got your villains. That's what we've seen so far. And some action in that. We don't know circumstances. We don't know, unless I'm wrong. Somehow Rey returned. Darth Pause. I was giving you praise earlier, dude. I was watching your stream with Echo Base, and I thought you handled yourself really well, stood your ground. I don't think that you were being combative in any way. You wanted answers to your questions, and they certainly weren't being answered. And it was really good. Thought it was really good. See, the difference between, I will say, me saying that I think for a kids show, Skeleton Crew on just a story level is fine, but then when you put it into Star Wars, it's not. I think that's where a difference lies with some of these people. Some of these people think that it's for kids, it's childish, it's kiddish, it's boring, it's stupid, and it's ridiculous, but it's fine, and it's fine to have this in Star Wars because it is just for the kids. And that's where I disagree. That's where I disagree. I don't think it's fine for kids. Like, I think it was, I was watching Melvin's stream, and was it Melvin's stream? It could have been one of Grizzy's streams. I can't remember, but they were watching, they all blur into one, really. They were going over, I think it was, there was a couple, actually. There was Hello Greedo's video, the popcorn thing, that the kid. And there was Star Wars Explained. I think it was Star Wars Explained. But somebody was talking about how, oh no, was it Hello Greedo? So, anyway, let me explain, and you guys will actually remember. But he was talking about how he wouldn't show, I think it was Hello Greedo, he wouldn't show like Phantom Menace to his kid and think that they'd actually enjoy that over Skeleton Crew. That was Hello Greedo, wasn't it? That's such a stupid thing. Like, and this goes against one of their oldest arguments, one of their oldest plays in their playbook is that it's for kids. Why do you care so much? It's made for kids. Why do you care so much? It's made for kids. It's about space wizards and it's made for kids. It's so ridiculous. It's so hypocritical. It's so hypocritical for somebody like him to come out and say, oh, I don't think that the Phantom Menace would be a good show to show kids. Oh, bullshit. They'd love the pod racing. Absolutely love it, especially if you give them the extended version of the pod race. They'd love the pod race. They'd love the fight at the end, the big battle between the droids and the Gungans. There's stakes. I would more so expect, especially from, let's say, the difference between episode 3, and this is directed directly at you, Hello Greedo, right? You know that suspenseful moment that you were talking about with the popcorn right in front of your kid's face, and she's not putting it in her mouth because what she's seeing on the screen is so suspenseful? Can you tell me what moment of suspense she was actually doing that in from episode 3, please? I want a specific moment. Because I don't think any kid out there, no matter what age, whether it be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or up, would sit there in any moment with popcorn hovering in front of their face in suspense of what's actually happening on the screen. I don't think that would ever happen in that episode. But you know where I would see that happening? In the battle at the end of The Phantom Menace. When Qui-Gon gets struck down and Obi-Wan screams no and then goes into a rage and loses control and nearly loses the fight. That's where I could see a little 6-year-old kid hovering popcorn in front of their face in absolute suspense and awe of what they're seeing on the screen. Not one moment do I think that you are actually telling the truth in what you said about your little 6-year-old girl. I don't believe you. I don't believe it. And to me, based on believing that, that's disgusting on your behalf. Using your 6-year-old. It's almost like somebody in my industry trying to get out of a deal on a car and wanting their deposit back because they used the excuse that their father died overseas and had to go and bury their father. And then a week later, the used car manager goes down to the auctions and buys a car. And guess who he sees down there? That dude buying a car at the auctions, not overseas where he said that he was going to be burying his dead father. That's disgusting behavior. Even putting that out there in a lie is disgusting in my eyes. I just don't believe you. I don't believe that that happened in episode 3. In fact, in any episode of this show, do I think that that would happen? Even the bit where Neil's like creeping through the ship by himself looking for Wad. I don't fucking remember his name. I've watched 4 episodes and I still don't remember some of these kids' names. Anyway, it's always nice to go off on a tangent, have a little bit of a rant and a rave and rage. Yep. Wham. The band. And what's the girl's name again? Flawed, Flora, Flame, Flimsy, Floozy, Flammable, Fiona, Frustrated, fucking ridiculous. All right, let's move on to just a couple of the topics that I actually, like I said, wanted to talk about last week, and then we might get stuck into. We'll do the nominees for Seal of the Week, and we'll get into the EFAP, I reckon, and we'll just leave the poll up for the duration or something like that. So let's go into this. Okay. Oh man, what's going on here? Work messages, man. Sorry. Okay. Where was I? I find a lot of the news coming out about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie quite interesting, to be honest with you. Not interesting in the sense that I'm actually interested in the story or the movie or whatever they're actually going to be doing with these ridiculous characters in their universe. But who we EFAPing? It was somebody that I think Grizzy brought up. It was somebody that Grizzy brought up, a video that Grizzy brought up in the stream that he did with Tim, where they got drunk. Why you want to join, Justin? You want to jump in? I'll shoot you the link if you want to jump in, and we can EFAP it together. But it's got to do with Skeleton Crew. That's the thing. I don't know. Are you watching Skeleton Crew? I don't think you are, but I could be wrong. Okay, so just back to Mandalorian and Grogu. I really do think that this is going to be a disaster when it releases. Now, obviously, there's still going to be normies. Oh, no, all good, Justin. I see you. All good. But the one like I said, the news that's coming out about Mandalorian and Grogu is kind of interesting in the sense that they are throwing everything into this movie. Everything that we had from basically the shows that they've been coming out with that have had any sort of form of positive feedback, they are throwing out there and they are letting you know. They are letting you know that all of these people are going to be in it. Now, this is just some. The thing is, for me, is it's a bit like the same thing with that Superman trailer that we just watched. They are throwing everything at the screen. Every little detail. Now, yeah, they're keeping maybe one or two characters under wraps and not letting you see that you're going to have this person in it or this person in it. Maybe. But there's a lot that they are showing you to try and feed on your nostalgia and try and feed on your love of the characters and that universe and everything else, to try and pull you in, right? So we got this one. So I don't know, Johnny Coyne, I don't know if that I even said that last name right, will reportedly return as Imperial Warlord and member of the Shadow Council in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. That's interesting because I don't even remember who that fucking character is. Let's see. What's his name? Johnny. Without the H. Oh, didn't spell that correctly. Who did he play? And in what did he play it in? Like, I don't even remember seeing him. Even this image doesn't remind me of anything. Was he just in the background when, like, Moff Gideon or something was on a hologram or something? Like, I don't remember this. And I don't know why this would actually be news, right? But that's one. Like, obviously, if there's people out there that did recognize him or did know and know what character he's actually playing, because it just says Imperial Warlord. And when I search it, it doesn't. Let me see. Let me go into the actual IMDb really quickly. Okay, he was in The Mandalorian, one episode of The Mandalorian, and his character is just Warlord. What episode was it? Episode 25. Episode, oh no, 25 episodes, sorry. Which episode was he in? Why isn't it telling me? It doesn't tell me. Okay, so he was in one episode of The Mandalorian. So he's going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. What else have we got? Oh, we've got Rod of the Hutt. Rod of the Hutt. Filoni on bringing Rod of the Hutt back. This would have made like the Clone Wars stands. Like this movie, you've got to remember the beginning of the Clone Wars. This movie was very, very criticized by the majority of the Star Wars fan base. And the crazy thing about all of that is that this new Disney Star Wars fan base isn't even that old. Doesn't even remember any of that. 25th episode of the series. There you go. So what? There was 10 episodes. So it must have been the middle of season 3. Is there 8 episodes or 10 episodes a season? Now I fucking can't even remember that. See how much I really just don't fucking care to remember shit about Disney Star Wars anymore? Excuse me. Got a massive tickle in my throat. Censured Warlord appearance in Mandalorian. Oh, wait, on Twitter. Let's have a look. Oh, there it is. Soul Assassin. Oh, man, I can't play all of this. It's, oh, there. Okay, so it's, I know this scene. Do I still have, do you have audio here? Hang on. Audio there. This hallway was ridiculous too. Absolutely ridiculous and pathetic and stupid. Anyway, let's skip ahead a little bit.
Cautious and show no sign of our true strength.
Does he actually speak?
There's a fortune to be had.
Yeah, there he is.
Plundering the hyperspace lanes. Commander, your hit and run operations are gaining too much
Palian.
notice. If we are perceived.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's all I'm going to watch of that because we'll get hit for that. Thanks, Soul Assassin, for shooting that through. There you go. So he's going to be a part of it. We've got Rudder the Hutt that's going to be in it. It's interesting. We need to actually, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's almost like we have to now. We actually need to document, like, almost Rudder the Hutt's age, where, like, what he, like, the length of time that Hutts live for, all of that sort of thing, because, you know, they'll just change, you know, species and history and all of that sort of thing just to suit their narratives. It'll probably just happen in real time anyway. It's probably not something that we've got to do. I find it funny that they quote in the he in this. You know, he. You know, the Filoni laugh, the Filoni giggle. You know, he. It's like really funny. He. That's, and I just did it. Oh, man. He did it twice, and they quoted the he's in there twice. You know, if they had just gotten rid of it, it would have just read, you know, it's like really funny because, and without the he's in there, but they actually quoted in the he's. And this is Star Wars Meg, mind you. You know how stupid that makes Filoni look, right? Because I knew as soon as I saw him, like Jeremy, they're talking about, so Jeremy, where is it? So Jeremy Allen White, the Emmy-winning star for what? Why do I not recognize or know this person? Should I? Let's have a look at that name. Doesn't even look familiar. Doesn't even look familiar. The Iron Claw. After Everything. The Rental. Movie 53. These are movies that he's been in. Shameless. Oh, he's in Shameless? I must admit, I've only seen Shameless like once, and that's US. The Bear. Okay. Do you guys know this person? Do you guys know this person? Anyway, so they're playing Rudder the Hutt. Jeremy was like totally perfect to bring back Rudder. Rotter? Is that how you say it? Rudder the Hutt? I spoke to George and he basically said he didn't care and to stop asking him about a baby Jabba. I think that was back when they originally decided to make a baby Jabba. And it's kind of funny that, you know, even Star Wars Meg out there, this is fake news in regards to him saying these right now. He hasn't spoken to George Lucas recently about this, but that's the way that they want to make it sound. When he originally spoke to George Lucas about this and putting that into the original Clone Wars movie, that's what George Lucas said. And the fact that he said that, like, I don't care, he didn't care. He probably did, but you were just being such a fucking retarded pest that he just gave in to you. So we're going to get Rotter the Hutt, Jabba's little baby boy, in Mando and Grogu. What else? What else are we going to get? Tamora Morrison's Boba Fett and Min Now Wen, Fennec Shand may appear in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Ooh, jangling a little bit of keys if you even care about Disney's version of these characters. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. They made Boba Fett pathetic. Fennec Shand is another one of those frustratingly what's the word I'm looking for? I've just completely blanked. Frustrating, basically, characters who seems to just I don't know, portrayed as better than everybody else. Like even that bit in Book of Boba Fett when, the guy's like, we ask you for a donation because we're the crime bosses. And Fennec leans over and goes, basically, oh, they think that you owe them a tribute or something. And it's like, I think we all got it, Fennec. I think we all understood. And if Boba Fett was the only one out of the entire audience and you and everybody in universe that didn't actually see that, they made Boba retarded. So bring on, this is the thing. Oh, and then we go into some Skeleton Crew stuff. It wouldn't even surprise me if they brought in Lizzo and Jack Black again. Christopher Lloyd again. It wouldn't even surprise me. Next thing you're going to hear is in Mandalorian and Grogu, we're going to have Bo-Katan. She's fucking in the poster. But, they'll make that a massive announcement. What was that Skeleton Crew thing? Skeleton Crew star Robert Timothy Smith. It's the three names, man. Describes how he got into character to play Neil. I would listen to cutesy songs like Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows. Don't criticize the kid actors. I won't. Well done to the actor that plays Neil. Well done. That's what you used to get into character and inspire you for this role. Yeah, I think that tells you everything that you need to know about what this show is. Oh, man. You know what we might do? We might even just save this. I know it's then going to be 3 weeks old, but I still feel like it's relevant because I still feel like all of them still would, even after the 4th episode, would still all have a similar opinion to how they see the show. So I still think it might be relevant even next week, even after another episode is dropped. So we might save that because I definitely want to do this one. So why the Skeleton Crew planet is 100% cloning Palpatine. When I saw Grizzy bring this up, I saved the time so that I could get the exact video that he was talking about. And I really, really, really want to find out where they're finding a connection here. It's going to be very interesting, especially if it's got something to do with this prostitute chick that was at the pirate planet, the dock or whatever. So we might, like I said, we might just save this because this is longer. Now, yeah, we can speed it up, but even at 41 minutes into this stream, and it's obviously not all of it, we can probably take out a good, probably 5 minutes at the beginning, intros and all of that sort of thing, but they do get straight into it. And I honestly don't know how long it goes for, because, okay, now they're talking about Snow White there. So it's at least, let's say 45 minutes long, that conversation, and I want to go through it. Because, I've seen a lot of you guys even in the chat and, you know, talking about Drinker and Mauler. Obviously, even I've been talking about Theory. I want to, you know, recognize how Robot Head thinks about it. And Badger. Reaper, he jumps in every now and then, but I think he's still sort of more so, I think it was Reaper that was still more so on board with like how Robot Head felt about it, as opposed to sort of the other guys. But like I said, it's probably still going to be relevant at least. So we might do that next week. What? Look at where he is. He never sits in there. That's usually Charles that gets in there. Charles isn't behind you, is he? It is so not time for food. What do you want from me? There's dry food there. Go and eat some of that. And now he's not looking at me because he knows that I'm not going to feed him right now. Yep. Go on. Look. Screw you then. But now he's just down there. And as soon as I look at him, oh, no, he actually did a whole, like, eye roll and looked away from me. Yeah, he is. He's mad as. Fuck, he got angry. Charles in charge. He kind of is, but, like, Charles never complains about food. Never complains about food. And more often than not, Charles actually lets Eric eat all the wet food and he'll just eat dry food. Like, he's the only one that complains. Like, give me food. There's food there. There's dry food there, but go and fucking eat it. Go and fucking eat it. All right, let's do Seal of the Week. I think I've got... Now, again, these are all seals that were supposed to be last week. So we're just going to use those. It really annoys me too about missing last week because the timing of episode 200. I think it'll still be okay. In fact, does it actually work out better because Skeleton Crew ends? I think Skeleton Crew was going to end the week after episode 200. So now with this skip, it's going to be okay. It's going to end right on that week. Meow. Poor kitty. Don't feel sorry for him. He's looked after better than I look after myself. Okay. So, let's do it, shall we? Let's do Seal of the Week and then EFAP this bitch. I'm going to top up my drink because I've only got a tiny little bit left. Macca's. And that's all done. All right, let's do Seal of the Week. Let's at least get that poll going.
I'm all the Jedi.
Now, you know when we talk about like these new Disney Star Wars fans and how weird and creepy and crazy and all the shipping, and that seems to be all the pronoun people on Twitter that like Disney Star Wars, and it's just that's just the new Star Wars fan base that they've culminated. I hate calling it even a Star Wars fan base. It is definitely a Disney Star Wars fan base. But this is just weird and creepy, isn't it? Kelly Knox says, marry me, hashtag Skeleton Crew, and talking about the fucking owl. I'm sorry, but isn't that just weird to anybody else? Isn't that just strange to you? Let's see what Jacob had to say. So nominee number 2 goes to Jacob. Now, mind you, I am going to go through all the streams. I never wrote them all down, but I'm sure it's going to be easy to, collect the data for who's winning Seal of the Week. I do feel like Jacob would be in the mix, but after he blocked me, there was a little bit of time there where he wasn't getting any nominations at all. And yeah. Now, I do want to point out that all the fans have started calling him Shmee, and obviously it's SM33, but, Shmee because of the pirate Shmee. Shmee. So Jacob says, we're all in agreement that SM33 has instantly become a contender as one of the most iconic droids in all of Star Wars, right? Hashtag Skeleton Crew. Yeah, so iconic. So iconic. These people just can't help themselves but chill and love everything. I mean, look, even if they were critical of at least just one thing, be critical of that one thing in Disney Star Wars. I'd be like, okay, maybe there's a possibility that they truly do believe that this is the best droid in all of Star Wars. But no, it's this is the best droid in all of Star Wars. Oh, Mando is the best character in all of Star Wars. Oh my God, that scene was the best fight in all of Star Wars. Then the next show comes out and that scene was the best fight we've ever seen in all of Star Wars. And oh my God, it was red. Oh my God, there's holocrons. Oh my God, there's droids. Oh my God, there's shields. Oh my God, that's a temple guard helmet. Oh my God, it's that. No. That's not how fandom has ever been. Ever. But when it got infiltrated by the fake fans and the bullshit ones that are just grifting it and milking it for whatever they can, because they've got some sort of connection or towards what Star Wars was once, maybe. And that there's a possibility they might get a gift basket from Disney Star Wars. Woo! Better make sure I just say everything's really, really good. The next nominee, thanks to Darth Melvin, leader of the Knights of Melvin. If you're not subscribed, you better get over there. He is a member, an OG original member, creator of, or one of the creators, I should say, because there's multiple of them. One of the creators of the Gatekeepers Alliance. And let's check that out, actually, before we get into what the stupid thing is that Star Wars Explained said. All right, so they were at 241. Did we get anyone over there? Did we get anyone at all? Well, possibly. They got 2. Thank you, if that was 2 people from over here. Can we get them to at least 45? Can we get 2 more? Can we get them 2 more? I'd like to get them to the 250. 7 more would be nice. But let's just go for 2. How many people we got here? We got 24 people. We had 40. I should have plugged it a little bit more then. All right, let's go back. But yes, also go and subscribe to Knights of Melvin and all the members of the Gatekeepers Alliance. All right, he just says hashtag Disney Shill. Fake news, Carl Catan here. Sorry, I just have to say that. I just love that thing that he's done with Carl Catan here. Carl Catan here. I love it. So funny. So Star Wars Explained says, got some interviews with Skeleton Crew creators and cast coming this week. If that doesn't scream Disney Shill, Disney Seal, I don't know what does. And then the last nominee, I kind of found this one kind of funny. Comes from Brooks. Has had a couple of nominations in the past, right? But says how it feels to like the Acolyte. I actually kind of laughed. But the fact that that's how you feel about being an Acolyte fan makes you a Disney seal. Isn't that funny? You're in pain and you're a fucking retard. Like, I don't know what to tell you. All right, they're your 4 nominees. Let me put the poll in the chat. And you guys can vote. What are we doing? Seal of the week. And we got 1. We got 4 this week. Get your votes in, ladies and gentlemen. Where did everybody go? Did they all go to Jack's show or something? It's all right. I don't deserve you. After what I did to you last week, I don't deserve you. They can like the Acolyte. Just don't try and convince anybody that it isn't shit. Well, that's true. But they believe that it's not shit. They actually think that, like, and that's the crazy thing about it is that is like one of the most removed from Star Wars things I think I've ever seen, despite the amount of Star Wars it quote unquote had in it, you know, lightsabers, Jedi, blah, 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 Force. But they certainly did make a mess of it. They created some shit that was just pathetic and stupid and ridiculous and didn't make sense in the universe. They did a lot of, the time, the instant teleportation stuff, the time, no travel time and shit like that. They did a lot of that. It's a complete broken mess when it comes to actual Star Wars. So your 4 nominations. First one is like this person asking this out to marry them. Weirdo. Furry weirdo. You got Jacob at number 2 thinking that Shmi SM33 is like the best droid in all of Star Wars. You've got Star Wars Explained, who gets interviews with, cast and crew of the actual shows. And then you've got the Acolyte lover that feels like they're being stabbed a million times to death. Get your votes in. Okay, I'm going to top up my drink. And then we are going to come back. We're going to get rid of some of these tabs. I've got this one saved. We're going to watch that next week. We're going to do another EFAP next week, I feel. What day? What? Fuck. Oh, no. Next. Oh, okay. So, no. This is why I'm actually even more pissed that I missed last week. So, next week, unfortunately, there will be no Casual Rage. I am getting the Christmas Day and Boxing Day, so the Wednesday and Thursday off. Unfortunately, being that is the case, I am working on the Friday. So I'm not getting my roster day off. Well, at least at the same time that I usually do that week. So next week, there unfortunately will be no Casual Rage, which is a little disappointing, like I said, especially due to the fact that I missed last week. But I will be back on the 3rd, or for you Americans, it's, I think, the 2nd, the Thursday night. So, yeah, I'll be back on the 3rd. And then we'll have to do 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew again, and we will watch the that stream. Because I think that those streams too, I don't know how it always seems to happen, and I've done videos on them. If you haven't seen them, you can find them on the channel. But those streams, man, they make some of those guys that are on there, even when they're talking positively about something, they make theory look pretty, like, dumb. They really do. That's true. Mark gets me on Friday next week. That is true. How you doing, dude? Get back to work. What are you doing watching YouTube videos with work, dude? You're going to get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble. All right. So we've done the nominees for Seal of the Week. Let's EFAP this video. I need to get a drink though, because my mouth is really dry. So we need something to play you. Do you want the Mozza fart clip? It's only like, the problem is it's only 32 seconds. So I probably need like just a little bit more than that, which is fucking annoying as shit. Do you want Mozza doing the, what's it called? The floss? God, I need some better clips. I need some new clips. I've got some decent clips. All right, fuck it. I'm just going to give you Mozza farting. I'll be right back. Oh, did you hear that? He thinks. Did you hear that? He thinks he's going to get food. Because I moved the chair and I'm leaning that way and I'm about to get up. What a dog. What a dog of a cat. The problem is I'm going to have to feed him. All right, I'm going to play this clip. I won't be back before it ends, but I'll be right back.
Oh, Mozza, read that. Mozza, don't let the American bitch.
Did you just fart?
Yes, I did. Tell you what to do.
I think it's bedtime, Mozza.
Question mark.
I think it's bedtime for Mozza. That's
You pushed so far.
that's the type of videos that we watch on fucking Happy Hump Day.
I gotta pee. Oh my god.
Okay, so that's the cat's fed. Now let me give you something else. Fuck. We already played that one. All right, fuck it. Play this one. This is an oldie but a goodie too.
I said Lyndon would go to the tree and do some ASMR for you, Lethal. In your honor.
I'm so
And then-
sorry. He'd be hugging that tree. And then he'd be punching it and slapping it, going, "You took my friend." Kicking it. How dare you?
That would be you, Rhino.
Nah. I'd be there going, "Why? Fuck you, Disney! Why?" That is an oldie but a goodie. All right, I'm still not ready. One more.
R4. Prepare to jettison the spare part canisters.
Red 2, standing by.
Red 11, standing by.
Red 5, standing by.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost!
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. I think he did get lost. Oh, okay. So, sorry, I need a little bit more time. I need to call somebody at work. Mark's in the chat. Can't handle it? No, he's not. It's not in my department. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, guys. We are going to EFAP this. I just need to make a phone call. I'll try and give you another video. Hold on. Fuck, what am I going to give you? Fuck it. I'm going to give you nap time because it's long. It's sort of gotten boring, but I'm sorry. Just at least sort of try and entertain you a little bit. Unless I deleted it. Did I delete it? Oh, no. Oh, no. I think I got rid of it because I was so annoyed by it actually still being there. No, I got rid of it. I've got nothing. All right. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, guys. All right. I think we are good. I think we're good. Let me get rid of some of these tabs as well. Sorry about that, guys. Appreciate your patience. I know we lost a few viewers there. I completely understand. All right. EFAP time. Oh, don't tell me you're not plugged in or something. You're not going to charge? Fuck you. I need a new charging cable. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I grabbed a glass out and everything, and I'm like, man, there's only that much left. I'm going to drink through this. How's the poll going, by the way? I should have left one of the nominees up. Excuse me. Oh. We got 18 votes in there, and I kind of agree with it. All right. Let's do this. So this is from Screen Crush. Screen Crush decided to do a video on why the Skeleton Crew planet is 100% cloning Palpatine. Cloning. This was released 13 days ago. It's had 133,000 views. That's interesting. That seems pretty low. 4.6k upvotes to 308 down. So clearly people like this theory more than they dislike this theory. But I also want to point out that the ratings for Skeleton Crew haven't been good, obviously. I think people have been covering that. And the only people that are really sort of watching it are those Disney SEALs, are the Disney shills. And then there's people like me and, you know, the other people like Melvin and stuff like that that obviously watch it, cover it, and talk about how ridiculous the people out there are talking about it. Okay, so Screen Crush. I really, like, I can't stand this guy, to be honest with you. This is going to be a tough one to get through, I reckon. We're not going to speed it up straight away. Let's let it get into it a bit, and we'll see how we go.
You're a couple of Linderlings from the lost planet of Eternal Treasure.
Linderlings.
Eternal Treasure?
Hey, welcome back, Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and we have...
I hate the fact that his name is Ryan as well.
Have to talk about the mysterious hidden planet of At-Aden from the show Skeleton Crew. We think that we may have solved why this planet is hidden from the rest of the galaxy and the dark truth behind the great work that is happening on the planet and how all of this is going to connect to...
Somehow Palpatine returned.
But really, in all seriousness, we think there's an eerie dark reality behind this great work.
This is the thing, though, with where these people actually lose credibility in my eyes. Because what we are supposed to believe is that at the end of Return of the Jedi, Palpatine didn't die. And effectively, that blue mist shit that you see is his essence transfer, spirit transfer, you could say, to what? I don't know. But he didn't die then. So this is where Disney's going to fail miserably in regards to explaining between the time that, let's say, a clone exists of Palpatine and the end of Return of the Jedi, that limbo, they're never going to be able to explain that, ever. And they will never try, because you know why they will never try? I've said it multiple times, because the people that are actually now getting any form of enjoyment out of Disney Star Wars don't care. They don't ask those questions. And it's funny that the people that do ask those questions are actually labeled by those people as racist, misogynistic, or whatever, because the actual show at the time that's being aired has a female lead in it, or a stupid female character like Reva. You know what, Disney Star Wars fans? That is completely unavoidable now. You know why that's unavoidable now? because that's the only thing that Disney Star Wars has going for it, is to try and portray a false Mary Sue female character lead to put down and overcome those male characters out there. Because Disney had to turn a male-dominated franchise into a female franchise. Because Disney didn't have enough female franchises already.
Work happening on this hidden planet that is going to tie in directly to the Sith occult that came out of nowhere in Rise of Skywalker. And
I'm glad that he acknowledged that it came out of nowhere in the Rise of Skywalker. Oh, but this is going to explain it coming out of nowhere in the Rise of Skywalker, right?
And we'll explain how this hidden planet's going to connect to former secret planets we've seen throughout the Star Wars saga, the creation
Oh, the Acolyte. There's a connection to the
of
Acolyte.
the Clone Army, and of course, the resurrection of Palpatine.
Even the creation of the Clone Army and Palpatine.
Somehow.
Colton, stop playing that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and also apparently Doug and Colton have some kind of bet to resolve, so a little later we're going to get into that too. And we're also going to tell you about our new Star Wars inspired parody merch, details about our live show, and of course talk about Skeleton Crew on our free to join.
Is that really parody merch? I gotta ask. Is that really parody merch? That's a straight ripoff from Back to the Future. And Back to the Future might have been doing a parody between, let's say, Star Trek and Star Wars and this combined thing of both of those things. But this is a ripoff from Back to the Future, not a parody t-shirt. Anyway.
Inspired parody merch, details about our live show, and of course talk about Skeleton Crew on our free to join Discord. Links for everything are below.
Yeah, that man owes me a shaved head.
Okay, so let's start by breaking down what we know about At-Aten so far. As we learned in episode 2, outsiders don't seem to know much about this planet, and those who have heard of the planet believe it to be a myth.
Well, the funny thing is that apparently, based on the explanation that we've had also, is that they don't know anything of really the outside world. They've had no connection with the outside world. So it's a little bit stupid for the dad to ask, has the leader contacted the Republic when he doesn't even know whether or not there's even a Republic out there?
That is a myth.
Now, we have a theory on which Star Wars planetary system At-Aten is in, and what its Star Wars legend.
Can I please say something? Ryan from Screen Crush. Legends, the EU, let's call it what it is apparently not canon. So you can't use their star map, especially when in their canon, it literally takes them 30 seconds to go from the core systems to like the outer rim. You cannot use this as an example. This doesn't exist in their Star Wars. This doesn't exist to them. No more. No more touching this shit. No more using Legends as an example. Now, you can sit there all you like and you can justify why your love of Disney Star Wars and all the Disney Plus shows have come out, and you can use how much you think that the originals and the prequels had their problems and why you want to put them down so much to prop up these other shows and make them the best thing that they've ever had, right? You can do that. Do it if that's what you really, really believe and that's what you really, really think. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think you were ever really a Star Wars fan. Fuck off. And it's not Legends. It's not called Legends. You nearly got me. You nearly got me. That's the thing. That's another thing that kind of pisses me off a little bit. Disney and all you Disney fucking tards out there, you nearly got me. Continuously saying Legends. It's the expanded universe. It's the Star Wars expanded universe. It expands the true story of Star Wars. Legends isn't a thing. It doesn't exist. You've got Star Wars and you've got the expanded universe, and then you've got Disney Star Wars and their garbage expanded universe. Call their shit Legends. If they want to do a differentiation between the EU and their canon, which is why him putting this in his video is completely fucking ridiculous. But if you want that separation, then you call your shit Legends.
Legends counterpart might be a planet that was ground zero for a battle between the Jedi Knights and space pirates during the Great War with the Sith Empire in the Old Republic. Oh, and also there are sea dragons.
Wait a minute, back up. You lost me.
Believe me, we're gonna get there. But first, I want to talk about the secret conspiracy happening on At-Aden to keep the planet's residents from leaving or from having much knowledge about the outside world. When the kids blast into space,
Which again, I want to point out is ridiculous that the dad asks, have they reached out to the Republic, when he doesn't even know what is actually out there. How does he even know that the Republic is governing systems? How does he know that it's not an actual empire? Apparently, it was only about 5 years ago. It was an empire. And they're supposed to have no connection with the outside world. You just said it in your own video, and only 5 years ago. If the rumor is true that this takes place after Mandalorian season 3, then it's maybe 10 years. 10 years after there was a galactic empire, and he's asking whether or not head office has contacted the Republic. How does he know that? How does he know that? Don't ask questions. Just consume product and get ready for next product. Is that the answer? Think so. Think that's the answer. Pretty sure.
They say,
What are those? They're stars. I didn't know there'd be so many.
the cloudy barrier surrounding the planet seemingly acts as a shield that hides At-Aden from the rest of the galaxy, and it hides the rest of the galaxy from At-Aden's residents. I'd assume as the series continues, we'll learn a little bit more about the lore of the planet, and that the children are in all likelihood being lied to. Or perhaps their parents are also being lied to or kept in the dark as to what...
We are. The mystery box is already there. You're not telling me anything I don't already know right now. I want to know what you're saying in regards to the connection of this planet being involved in 100% cloning Palpatine.
Really transpires in the planet and
Let's
what
go.
their great work is contributing to.
No
now,
one
a
cares.
phrase like the great work already sounds super cult-like something out of the show Silo or Severance.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, in those shows, just like in Skeleton Crew, we see our characters doing communal work that benefits them as a society while largely being kept in the dark by the higher-ups. In Silo, the characters are just happy to be alive and safe from the dangerous outside world that they know nothing about. But little do they know that the higher-ups running the silo know a dark and hidden truth. The same is true for Severance. Our characters feel lucky to just have a job and, in a blissfully ignorant fashion, do their work for a mysterious and eerie higher purpose.
So I'll never leave here.
You'll leave at 5.
This seems to be what's happening on At-Aden. They live in a peaceful suburban society with guaranteed jobs and an affluent lifestyle in exchange for contributing to their society via communal work. Everyone works essentially for the government, and even the students at a young age are primed for their future roles in serving the great work of At-Aden.
Sounds like a bunch of communism to me. I don't like communism.
Do you even know what communism is?
Of course I do, but I'm not going to say.
Well, you're actually right. And that's something that I've always really enjoyed about Star Wars, the politics. Sure, it's a galaxy far, far away, but it has always mirrored various points in human history.
Oh, man. Oh, no. It's dangerous saying that, Mr. Screen Crush. I'm curious to go back in time and see if you've ever said the complete opposite.
I'm not going to say.
Well, you're actually right. And that's something that I've always really enjoyed about Star Wars, the politics. Sure, it's a galaxy far, far.
The politics. It's interesting. That was a big thing. That was a big talking point during the sequel trilogy, wasn't it?
Way, but it has always mirrored various points in human history. Star Wars provides commentary on our many styles of governance and societal structures here on Earth.
We need a system where the politicians sit down and discuss the problem, agree what's in the best interest of all the people, and then do it.
So I think artifacts like this mural and the stories on Wim's datapad could be propaganda created by the elders of At-Aden to manufacture consent among its people. We can even see a Jedi included here on this mural that likely depicts a fictitious origin for the safe haven known as At-Aden.
Person? Hey, what are you doing?
I am playing Game of Thrones Legends.
Hey, do you always play that game and cut it
off.
person.
And I was on a Game of Thrones Legend playing this, let you create the North John RPG events. The blood was informed, and I play it seconds by clicking summon token. Sith connections are nothing new. Special champions, a goal which has now consumed my life. Now, hidden planets with Sith connections are nothing new in the Star Wars universe. In a second, we're going to talk about Kamino and how it connects to At-Aden. But first, I want to talk about 3 secret hidden...
I want to say something about Kamino for a second. Kamino wasn't necessarily a hidden planet, right? It was specifically removed from the databanks or databanks. So, like, it's there. It was hidden from people, right? But not as let's say hidden as Exegol, which is stupid, especially when you see, I saw a shot, and I don't know whether or not it was actually on stream, but I saw a shot and it was like Kylo Ren's TIE fighter or whatever he was flying in, or was it Rey? Well, anyway, whoever it was, they were in the fighter, and the cloud thing, that red fucking thing that they got to get through, the nebula, it's like, it's so small in the vacuum of space when you see it from a distance. It's like you actually needed a map to get through that, when like it seriously looks like it wouldn't take you long or much longer, if anything, to go around it. And it's not like they've set it up so, like, you know, if you do go around it, it just like, it's a specific thing or anything, it destroys your ship, whatever. Nothing. So to me, Kamino is completely different to what we're talking about here in regards to At-Aden, or even what you're about to go into here with Exegol. Because again, I don't think Exegol is so much as a hidden planet as it is like, you know, actually specifically finding Luke on the planet and actually having the map that leads you to Luke Skywalker, not a hidden planet. The planet's not hidden. Luke is hiding on the planet, yes, but the planet's not fucking hidden.
Planets the Disney era alone has given us, in addition to At-Aden. First, we had the planet Acto, the planet from the sequel trilogy where Luke was hiding. Planet. It was home to the first Jedi Temple and ancient Jedi texts.
Built 1,000 generations ago to keep these, the original Jedi texts.
There's also the mysterious planet from the Acolyte that looked a lot like Acto, but also matched the description of a planet from Star Wars Legends called Baldemnik. In Legends, that's where Darth Plagueis, the Sith Master of Palpatine, spent a lot of time in hiding.
Oh, fuck off with your Legends. Fuck off with this stuff. This stuff is not canon. Decanonized by the powers that be. Create your own canon, they said. We're going to use our creative freedom to create our own canon revolving around this. We're going to create all new characters and all new stories. Not pluck characters from better stories and throw them in here like Plagueis and pretend like they're doing a favor to the EU fans. It's what it is. You're pretending that you're throwing a bone to the actual Star Wars fans out there. And whereas, in fact, you're doing the complete opposite while surrounding that character or that planet with absolute garbage of your own. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Sad and disgusting.
And it was on this planet that you could find the lightsaber shorting metal cortosis.
Cortosis, handy against lightsabers.
So while the planet and the Acolyte never officially got a name drop, it's super safe to assume that it was Baldemnik. It's the exact same terrain, both have cortosis, and Plagueis was, of course, on the planet lurking around. But I think it's possible that we could later discover that Baldemnik and Acto are actually...
And the thing is if this person knows about Baldemnik, and knows about Plagueis' connection to Baldemnik and all of this kind of thing, I would automatically assume that that person has actually read the Plagueis book. Now, that person might have just read a synopsis. This person might have just read a synopsis, actually never read the book, which would most likely, based on how he's talking about it, be the case. But my point is that anyone that sat down and actually read and understood the Plagueis book, because it is quite dense and there's a lot in there, but anybody that actually has sat down and read the Plagueis novel and they saw what they did with Plagueis in this, and if this is supposed to be Baldemnik and this is supposed to be the cortosis mines on Baldemnik and all of that kind of thing, and you're sitting there praising that, saying, yes, they did give me what I wanted. I'm sorry, but you're not a Star Wars fan. It's quite simple. You kind of never have really been. Yeah, you like the idea of it. You like the idea of lightsabers and you like the idea of the Force and all of this kind of thing. But you're a Disney Star Wars fan. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
One and the same. Then, of course, there's the planet Exegol.
Exegol does not appear on any star chart, but legend describes it as the hidden world of the Sith.
Exegol was introduced in Rise of Skywalker as essentially one of the home bases of the Sith, and where Palpatine had been hiding and plotting for 3 decades between Return of the Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. It was also home to the Sith cult called the Sith Eternal, which we're going to talk about more here shortly. So, something that Exegol, Baldemic, and Acto all have in common, besides being strong in the Force, is that these planets cannot be found on any star map. In Force Awakens, they had to track down a special piece of a map to find Luke. And in Rise of Skywalker, they had to use a Sith holocron to find Exegol. And remember, Luke was also...
That was not a Sith holocron. There's one distinct thing about a Sith holocron in regards to why you would know that that's not a Sith holocron. First of all, it doesn't really look like a Sith holocron. Yeah, it's that pyramid shape, but it doesn't really resemble an actual holocron. To open a Sith holocron and get the information from a Sith holocron, if you've ever read any of the expanded universe, you would know this. Well, maybe there's some books out there that don't actually talk about holocrons, but there's a lot out there that do. Yeah, but if you're thinking that this is a holocron, like how did Rey open it and get the information from it? She just plugged it into the ship and it took her there. Bit like what Kylo Ren did as well. He didn't have to use any dark side ability to open this holocron. It just had the information. He picked it up and it was there. It showed him. You could see it in the shot. You're an idiot. It's so like... oh man, it's so funny because they're throwing so much, and I hate using these terms, disinformation about actual Star Wars, and playing it off like it's fine in Disney Star Wars because this is how it's always been. No. And the normie audience and shit like that out there that watch somebody like Screen Crush, who has what? 1.68 million subscribers, and like I said, has 133 views on this video. No wonder it's got more likes, because the people that watch this person, because this person really doesn't know anything about Star Wars, but the people that do watch this are the same kind of people. They're just the normie audience. And he's playing it off like like he knows what he's talking about.
Looking for this planet.
Luke searched for it for a long time. He nearly found it.
And this all, of course, connects to the planet of Kamino, where the Grand Clone Army of the Republic was created. In Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan is told that the planet of Kamino that he's searching for does not exist.
It looks like the system you're searching for doesn't exist.
Because it was removed from the archive, you fuck.
Palpatine used the clones.
It was manipulated and done intentionally. It was hidden from the Jedi. Yes, the planet wasn't a hidden fucking planet. Whereas at Aden is it's hidden from the entire galaxy, but that planet also doesn't have any outside connection to the broader galaxy.
On Kamino to build his clone army in secret. The same clone army that would be used to slaughter almost every Jedi in existence and deliver the long-sought Revenge of the Sith.
He said it! He said it!
And Palpatine had Dooku wipe the planet from the
God.
Jedi records.
Sifo Dyas, Kamino, the clones. I have betrayed everyone.
So I tell you this to make the point that the Sith, Palpatine specifically, are notorious for hiding planets and using entire civilizations, like the Kaminoans, to do his bidding. He's also notorious for playing both sides. He had his public face of Chancellor Palpatine, the leader of the Galactic
Republic. I guess what he's going for, though, is that Palpatine did hide the Kamino and, did hide Exegol, and it was all Palpatine that hid these planets, basically. And that's why because, you know, Palpatine's the only one that would have the ability out there maybe to hide a planet from the entire galaxy. Maybe that's where he's going with it. Hi, Trev. How you doing?
Republic, and then his Darth Sidious persona, who was the shadow leader of the Separatists. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if at Aden, where they live under the facade of a pre-Clone Wars republic, is a planet where they still love and admire Chancellor Palpatine. Or maybe their planet has been secluded even longer than that and was...
Old Republic, you retard! Old Republic. They've got Old Republic credits. They've had no outside connection. These planets seem to be like little communist little nests, hidden from the outside galaxy. Every single one has been destroyed except for at Aden, which is basically been hidden. The connection between Palpatine, I don't know. My God, these people stretch for answers.
Was put together by a Sith Lord predating even Darth Plagueis during the Old Republic era.
Oh, so you're saying that it was a Sith Lord in the Old Republic era that set up these planets and Palpatine just happened to, quote unquote, let's say, inherit those resources, those planets, those people, let's say those slaves, I guess.
Either way, we think that the residents of at Aden are living under the false assumption that they're a part of a galactic republic with Jedi still thriving out there in the galaxy. And we think that the Sith, being the manipulators they are using the stories and hopeful imagery of the...
Are you going off like prequel and OT era? Like this is what they remember, this is what they know? Or are you actually being like, can you be logical and say, okay, so we've got to think back to the fact that they were around during the Old Republic times. They've obviously got enough resources and enough there to be able to sustain a civilization pretty much indefinitely. You would have to think, if we're going back to Old Republic era, we're talking 3,000 years, right? As like a minimum kind of thing. To me, this is just such a stretch.
The Jedi and the Republic to coax these people into doing their bidding.
So like they're building something for the Sith and don't even know it?
Exactly. Now, our first thought was...
a bit like Andor, right? Building, you know, parts of the Death Star without even really knowing it.
Maybe at Aden's mysterious great work is perfecting cloning technology for Project Necromancer. That's Palpatine's contingency plan for immortality via cloning and essence transfer.
There is nothing of greater importance to secure the future of this empire.
But in shows like The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch, we've already seen planets where this work is being done to resurrect Palpatine. In The Mandalorian on Navarro, we saw a tank that appeared to...
What wasn't there like back when these shows were being aired, weren't there people out there saying no, it's not connected? Weren't there people out there that were saying no, like this is separate, this is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's universe, it's not connected to the sequels? I could have sworn there were. I mean, there were people out there that were saying that that Disney saved Star Wars for Christmas when they presented Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2 of Mando. Civil War, that's right. Yep. Interesting, isn't it? That now they can come out and admit, yes, okay, there's connections. Because there were so many connections over the course of these shows that they've been releasing that you can no longer deny that there's connections. Despite the fact that you could see the connections from the very fucking beginning. Even in Andor, with even just something as simple as your, what's the name of the fucking planet from The Last Jedi? The gambling planet? It's that forgettable and that ridiculous. In fact, before we go any further with this, there's something else that happened that I forgot about, obviously, because we missed last week and everything, and I'm sort of like trying to catch up on everything, is that we had these let me get this bit of hair. Is it even hair? that we had the 7-year anniversary of The Last Jedi. Now, again, I want to point out that there were people back then that were saying, oh, this was the same reaction as they got to the prequel trilogy. And look what's happened to that. Yes, well, look what happened to that. And look what happened to that. Essentially, a lot of it became because of the sequel trilogy. Like, you know, the ones that did think that it was super bad, I never thought it was actually that bad. But the ones that did think that the prequels were super bad started going, well, at least they're not the sequels. But the people that did like the sequels out there started coming out and then saying, like, oh, give it 10 years, it'll be like the prequels. They're masterpieces. They just haven't realized it yet. And they will eventually. In 10 years' time, they'll realize how much of a masterpiece they are, and they'll be beloved Star Wars by everyone. Well, we're 7 years in. We're 3 years away from that 10-year mark. And I would honestly think that the perception of those movies has gotten even worse. With how much more connection they keep trying to throw at this stuff through the shows that they're doing, but also, too, the destruction that they do to their own canon when it comes to things like their books and stuff like this, trying to keep their universe in tight, right? They just can't do it. They just can't do it. And you know what? The evidence is going to be when Mandalorian and Grogu comes out, and the fucking retarded title that is. But, you know, it's funny, even with the normies out there, it wouldn't honestly surprise me if it still didn't make money. It is Star Wars, and it's kind of like one of those situations where people talk about those, you know, oh, it is this. People are just going to go and see it. Like Wicked, for example. Now, I think, though, that Wicked still has that fan base that loves Wicked and all of that kind of thing that are just going to go and see it and just going to go and see it. They're not going to worry about any of the controversy. They're just going to go and see it. Whereas I think a lot of those people that were like that when it came to Star Wars, whereas it doesn't matter, I'm just going to go and see it. I'm just going to go and see it. I think that trust is gone where they're just going to go and see it now. So yeah, Last Jedi turning 7, whoop-de-fucking-do. It's worse. No one likes it. It is still despised by everyone other than the Disney shills. You guys are the only ones out there that are still trying to throw theories and get justifications out there and still want answers through like the cloning stuff that we're seeing through all of these things for why Palpatine did somehow return. You're the only ones that still care about that. We care on the sense that it's like, okay, how are you going to explain it? Show us. There's nothing that you can do that's going to change the fact that we believe that that Anakin turned back to the light side and killed Palpatine and brought balance to the Force and became one with the Force, and there's nothing that's going to change that for a real Star Wars fan. And it's interesting when we talk about George Lucas and, you know, his involvement in the EU and stuff like this. You know, he was the one that said that you couldn't have dark side users. You couldn't have Sith, right? Moving forward. Balance was achieved. So they created the Yuuzhan Vong. They created the Vong. And guess what that resulted in? It resulted in one of the good guys turning to the dark side, and, you know, things happen the way they happen. I still don't know the entire story. I know some circumstances of events, but I still need to read more. Last Jedi is going to fucking... It's going to be great. It's going to be a masterpiece. Fuck off. Fuck off. It's never going to be accepted by any Star Wars fan ever. Ever. And that's why you know that the ones that do accept it aren't Star Wars fans, because no real Star Wars fan would accept that as Star Wars. Accept that Luke Skywalker. Even accept what happened to Han Solo. Even accept what happened to Leia. General Leia. General.
Contained a botched attempt at creating a...
And Leia Poppins. Are we all forgetting all of this shit? Do we all just forget that in 10 years' time and be like, oh my God, I never realized how much of a masterpiece this is? all of a sudden in 10 years' time, my entire integrity in regards to my criticism of that movie is just going to shift. And all of a sudden, I'm going to truly believe that this is real Star Wars. Retarded.
A Snoke body. Remember, in Rise of Skywalker, we saw tanks of Snoke clones on Exegol seemingly created by the Sith Eternal using secrets of the Sith.
Really? Do we know that, do we? Secrets of the Sith. Only things that the Sith knew. Cloning.
Secrets only the Sith knew.
No.
There's also Wayland from the Bad Batch, where Mount Tantus resides and conducts cloning experimentation for Palpatine. Now, it's possible that At-Aden is yet another planet attempting to harness immortality for the Sith. But another possibility is that they are manufacturing Star Destroyers. Remember, in Rise of Skywalker, we saw this massive fleet of Star Destroyers rise up from the
At-Aden
depths
is
of
actually
Exegol. This
Exegol.
seems to imply that the Star Destroyers were constructed on Exegol, but underground. So possibly,
which is dumb.
However unlikely, At-Aden could be Exegol, but maybe they live on a different part of the planet. Remember, Exegol is home to the Sith Eternal, where a ton of Sith cultists live and serve Darth Sidious in his mission for immortality and unlimited power. And on Exegol, these Sith reside under this temple. Take a close look at the shape of this temple compared to the symbol of At-Aden, and remember this for later. So the symbol of the Sith Eternal is this diamond-like shape. And what is a diamond? Two triangles stacked together. Now, stick with me. Throughout all of Star Wars, triangles have always been associated with the Sith. The Sith Temple in Rebels is a pyramid. The Sith Portal in the World Between Worlds is a triangle. The Sith Holocrons, all triangles. The reason being that a triangle represents a single point standing
Is the World Between Worlds a Sith thing, is it? Because I don't remember Ezra using any form of dark side to get into a Sith temple to get into the World Between Worlds. I do, however, remember him getting holograms of tablets from the wolves, Filoni, thank you, to be able to get into a temple that Palpatine wasn't able to get into. A Sith. This guy's dumb. I'm sorry. The more I just thought about that then, the more crazier it fucking got. Oh my God. This is a clickbait fucking video with a guy that knows fucking nothing.
Of all others, which is the ultimate goal of the Sith, power. Now, if we look at this At-Aden symbol, it looks like the reverse of the Sith Eternal.
It looks like they're going for a fucking Stargate address. These ones here would be all the other ones, like at Andron and stuff like that, where we were talking about in this past episode. And this will be like, At-Aden will be like the master planet of all the planets or something.
Diamond, almost as if the triangles that make the diamond have been flipped, but they are beginning to converge, and when the 2 points reach their respective ends, they create a diamond, symbolizing the Sith's rule of two, a master and an apprentice, one to wield power and one to crave it. We also see this upside down triangle imagery on Exegol with the levitating temple that we mentioned just a second ago. And if you look at this patch rendition of the At-Aden symbol, it even adopts the diagonal cut and wedges that we see in the Sith Eternal symbol, which creates
Okay, I understand what he's saying in regards to seeing like this bit in here and this bit in here, but like there's a connection there. Like, I mean, the angles, it's a completely different angle. It's a completely different symbol. This, I wouldn't say, is in the shape of a diamond. Okay, you've got an upside down diamond there, I guess, right? An upside down triangle there, but the image behind it, you got a triangle in there and you got a triangle in there. It's kind of like that game. How many triangles do you see? Yep, I see one there, one there. I see one in there. That's 3. Do we count this as a triangle? That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Do we count this as a triangle? Fucking... What is this guy talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
more triangles and other polygonal and trapezoidal shapes. Exegol is referred to as the Sith's hidden redoubt world, a redoubt being defined as a fortress typically taking on a polygonal shape like the trapezoidal shape of the levitating temple. This patch rendition of the symbol also looks like the Omega symbol,
I want to punch this guy in the face through my screen. Oh, hang on, we got more symbols. Hold on.
This patch rendition of the symbol also looks like the Omega symbol, which could be a reference to the Bad
Ah! He made my brain fart.
Batch character Omega, who has ties to Palpatine's cloning plot. Now, I tell you all this not to necessarily imply that At-Aden has to be Exegol, but we do think that after all of the evidence we've gone over in this video, and more to come, that there is a decent chance that the people of At-Aden could unknowingly be serving the...
So I want to say something. A decent chance that At-Aden... What's the title of the video? What is the title of the video? Why the Skeleton Crew planet is 100% cloning Palpatine. Let's hear that little statement there again, shall we?
Has to be Exegol. But we do think that after all of the evidence we've gone over in this video, and more to come, that there is a decent chance that the people of At-Aden could unknowingly be serving the Sith. And
clickbait.
Are being manipulated and confined as prisoners without even knowing it. And this reveal would have Skeleton Crew follow in the footsteps of other Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and their goal to put the somehow in...
Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow Palpatine returned.
Colton, I told you to stop playing that. But yeah, actually, that does remind me. We've got a great Somehow Palpatine Returned shirt and hoodie up on our merch store right now.
Who's buying that? Who's buying that? Oh my God, 100% Simon. Oh my God.
Merch.com. Guys, we've also listened to you, and we put all of our best sellers like Original Trilogy on hoodies just in time. Evil will always triumph because good for our newsletter, so you stay up. And also, guys, I'm going to quickly mention our Nerding Out Together, but we have Ethan.
He bet me that he wouldn't be wearing a blue shirt today. And I said if he was right, I'd shave my whole body. But if he was wrong, he had to shave his head.
Colton, why would you make that bet? I always wear this blue shirt. It's
hilarious.
Okay, Colton, since you're here, go ahead and tell us about the secret system that you think At-Aden is.
Yeah, and the pirates and the space dragons too.
Oh, sure. Okay, so I love the theory that this planet is connected to the Sith Eternal, and I think that there is a lot to be said about the Sith triangle imagery in the At-Aden logo. But in my research writing this video, I think I slightly lost sight of the fact that this planet is a mystery treasure planet of pirate myth. And that sent me down a whole other rabbit hole that led me to finding the secret system that I think At-Aden could be within. The pirate planet of Drexel. And Drexel has a connection to Jude Law's character.
I'm sorry, I need to check something. So, of course, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that Drexel, the planet Drexel, is like something from the EU, which it is. And again, like, you decanonize the EU. Stop ripping off from it. You said that you could do better. Prove it. Prove it without fucking trying to rip apart what you threw in the bin and bring that back to what, maintain fandom in these things. Think you're throwing a bone to those people, like I said earlier?
counterpart from Star Wars Legends. So in Star Wars Legends, remember, that's non-canon material, but Lucasfilm has shown that they are very open to bringing Legends stuff into canon. In Legends, there's a system called the Drexel system, and in that system, there is only one planet. It would make sense that on a planet as secluded from the rest of the galaxy as At-Aten, that they too would exist in a system where there is only one planet. And it's also worth mentioning that the Drexel system is in the Lull sector. Now, the Lull sector, like At-Aten, had a barrier that prevented communications from the outside. This barrier also prevented you from crossing it in hyperspace. Now, we know that that's not the case for At-Aten because the kids did indeed travel through hyperspace to leave the system. But there is that barrier, of course, around the planet, and they were in this special ship that could have possibly had clearance of sorts to pass through a system barrier similar to that of the Nihil.
Pirate ship that has clearance of sorts to enter and exit a secluded system and planet. They're like, have you thought to stop and ask yourself, hang on a second, that's really, really unlikely. Really fucking unlikely.
Who? The Nihil. They're a group of marauders from the High Republic era that were associated with the anti-Jedi group, the Path of the Open Hand, and they are already canon. And in canon, the Nihil had the special knowledge and ability to travel through hyperspace different from everyone else, taking various hidden paths that no one else knew about. So this all connects to how Skeleton Crew could be tying into Lucasfilm's recent exploration of the High
These people
Republic
know
era.
more about Disney canon than I will ever know in my life, and bringing it into what, like, it's so funny that they try to surround this stuff with all these connections to like real Star Wars through the expanded universe and all of these kinds of things. And then they try and infiltrate that with the Disney canon, like EU stuff from the High Republic and all of that kind of garbage. And they think in their head that all of that can actually make sense together.
With their books, comics, and shows like The Acolyte. And I think At-Aten is
Like
under
The
the impression
Acolyte?
that it is still
What was
living
that even
with their, so
statement?
this all ability to travel through hyperspace different from everyone else, taking various hidden paths that no one else knew about. So this all connects to how Skeleton Crew could be tying into Lucasfilm's recent exploration of the High Republic era with their books, comics, and shows like The Acolyte. And I think At-Aten is under the impression that it is still living in that era of the High Republic. And the phrase great work is also pulled straight.
Well, then why didn't he say, have you contacted the High Republic? And the other thing too is it's funny that he mentions that they think that they're living in the High Republic when the High Republic was essentially what, 100 to 300 years prior to the Phantom Menace, and the High Republic, where they get their credits from, is supposed to take place 3,000 years prior to these events. Again, not even stopping to think to ask those questions. Why? Because they don't like the answers, because the answers goes against everything that he is saying right now.
Straight from the High Republic era. Now, during the events of the war between the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire, Drexel was featured, and on Drexel, there was actually a battle between the Jedi and a clan of space pirates, which I think could be revealed to be the Nihil. Now, in Legends, on the planet of Drexel, there lived these big sentient sea dragons, and the planet was mostly water. But on the planet, there was a ship called the Great Ship, another connection to the Great Work, and it was described as a city ship, meaning that the ship itself was the size of an entire city. Now, this great city ship was created by outlaws who were on the run from the Republic, but years later, the city was colonized and a new civilization was built aboard this old pirate city. And these colonizers used sonic jammers to disrupt any spaceship from entering the planet, causing any entering ships to crash. Sound familiar? We see an advanced suburban-style civilization existing on this planet and under the impression that they are part of the Republic. But as we see out there in the galaxy, this planet is a planet of pirate myth that they believe is home to a great treasure. I think that At-Aten could have been built upon this secret planet. Now, the ship that the kids found from Episode 1 could be an old pirate ship from before the Republic colony took over the Great City ship, or it could be a crashed pirate ship that attempted entry looking for that lost treasure of At-Aten. And this all connects to Jude Law's Force-using character who has another name. Now, this information is already online in an official capacity, but it hasn't actually been said in the show. So, slight spoiler warning in case you don't want to know anything. All right? Still here? All right. Jude Law's character is called Crimson Jack. I'm sure we'll hear that name drop in a future episode. Now, Crimson Jack is a pirate from Star Wars Legends.
Because we've already, I've heard that name. But yeah.
Who sought treasure in...
so yeah, just another rip-off character from the expanded universe.
The Drexel system. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now, because quite frankly, I don't want to spoil myself on what could be next for this awesome show.
That was pretty great. And can I just say how much fun it is to be theorizing about Star Wars again? I've missed it so much, and it's probably my favorite part of this job. So guys, let me know, do you think the mysterious planet of At-Aten is connected to the Sith Eternals?
Crazy that you're theorizing, you're theorizing trying to use two separate canons that one essentially in one person's eyes, the creator's eyes, doesn't actually exist, and a jumbled mess of a canon that they've actually created.
Huge shout out to Colton who wrote this video.
We don't need to. Oh, huge hand off to Colton who wrote the video. You just read it, did you? Shadow writers. Well, the guy Colton is in the video. I'll give you that. But there you go, guys. So basically what he proved to me there was that his title was full of shit and he's only speculating, which was kind of obvious going into that. We're only speculating that Palpatine could be being cloned there or something. But, 100% being cloned by the Skeleton Crew planet. Could have just called it Aden, possibly. Well, that was interesting and gay. What a dumb fucking moron. So many things he said wrong in that too. The disinformation stuff. 133,000 people watched that and over 4,000 people liked that video. Gay. All right, let's wrap up Seal of the Week and we'll get the flock out of here. How long have we been going for? 3 hours. Just ticked over. That's nice. That's a good, nice number to finish up on. And like I said, next week I won't be doing Casual Rage, unfortunately, Christmas time, and I will be working that day. But the following week we will be back. We'll obviously do episodes 5 and 6 of Skeleton Crew, and we will probably sit down and EFAP a little bit of Drinkers Stream and just go over a little bit of that and have a chat about it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all the members. And thank you to anybody that sent super chats and gift memberships and membership messages and all of that kind of thing. Thank you so much. Thank you to the mods. Soul Assassin, I appreciate you doing your thing. Let's bring up this Seal of the Week and get that done. All right, we got 30 votes, which is nice, actually. We got 30 votes in there. It's a good place to end it. So we will end that now. And the one that I thought was going to win won. It's a shame because I think it's their first nomination and it really means nothing to the overall numbers of Seal of the Year. But let's go through it. So in last place, well, it was a tie in last place with 20% both, was 4. That's fair enough. And Star Wars Explained, fair enough too. I mean, it is very shilly and very silly to even post something like that. But yeah, that's fair enough. In second place, the runner-up this week with 23% of the vote was number 2, Jacob. J.I. Jacob. Unfortunately, didn't get the win this week. But the win this week goes to Kelly Knox saying, "Marry me" to an owl from Star Wars, because those people are fucking weird. They are really, really, really weird. So congratulations, Kelly Knox. You are this week's Seal of the Week, and you get an award of being Seal of the Week. That's it.
I'm all the Jedi.
Beautiful. Let's well done, Kelly, for the win on Seal of the Week. We've got Darth Ghostface with $5 saying, hope you will have a good Christmas and a happy new year, Rhino. I hope you do too. And all of you out there have a very good, happy, and safe Christmas and New Year. 2025 is looking to be a good year with Star Triggered and Trump coming back in January. I completely agree. Speaking of Star Triggered, let's just quickly do a refresh on that and see if we got that 245 at least. 2 more. Refreshing. Yes! 245. Nice. 5 more and they get the 250. But that was like I said, because there's a lot of crossover. So, and we've got 26 people watching right now. So I would assume that a lot of you would already be subscribed. Oh, and there, look. We have more fun making fun of Disney Star Wars than the shills do watching it. That's true. There they are there. Well, we got you, 4 subscribers tonight. You're at, I think, 241 when we started. We've been going all night, giving little plugs in here and there, and we got a couple more. Whether or not they actually did come from the chat or not, I don't know. You can go over and watch the Jack show, guys. I don't know if Anna's on. Obviously, she's just she's got the little one. She's just given birth to little baby girl or baby Star Wars girl. So I don't think she'll be on, but you never know. She might be there. But you can go and check that out. And again, thank you everyone for being here. We will see you all, like I said, in a couple of weeks. Obviously, get ready. I will be dropping my review of episode 4 probably tonight. And then next week, you will still get episode 5. What comes after 4? Episode 5. And there will just be no breakdown on Casual Rage until the following week. All right, everyone. I'm out. Peace. We'll see you, I know, when I'm looking at you.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin Crop's kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
Be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You go away.
We bounced too near a supermarket?